Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Smack Attack. It is the show of the people, by the people, for the people. There is no gatekeeping here. Well, there's some gatekeeping here because if you're a dick, you're out. Other than that, you're here. We love you. We want you to be here. We already have an active chat today. I think everybody wants to hear our views on holy shit, what's happened in the back half of this week. And we'll get into that and maybe talk some Smackdown. I don't know. But as always, I am joined by one, at least, of the boys from the PWC. And this week we got the best boy of the PWC, Mr.
Yes, boy. Best boy.
Chris, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. That's right. I'm Christopher Ams. That's AMBS, like lambs with no L or bullshit first thing in the morning. And everybody listening, don't worry. If you ever forget how to spell my last name, I'll just remind you at the beginning of every show.
Yes, there it is. Retro Rocket, where have you been, fucker? Admits the People Show. We always say this. I've said this from since James left, and it's the People Show. Anyway, so Chris, hey, what do you want to talk about? Hey, I do. Look, let's start with the biggest news of the day. Let's go with that. LA Knight was not there because he got COVID-19. That's why he was not on Smackdown last night, apparently. And apparently he was supposed to be the run-in, supposedly, at the end with John Cena to take on the Bloodline. So, I don't know. I think that's all bullshit. I don't really care about that. I don't know if you do as well, but I just thought that was funny that people were already going, where was LA Knight? Well, he was supposed to do this. It's like, guys, just let people fucking just let it be. Let it be.
Let people have their day off. He's sick.
Whether he's sick or not, who gives a So all right, so we have a lot of pretty big stories to talk about here. I mean, Chris, you and I think, and Jimmy, we've talked before about the fact that we knew when this merger happened, lots of things were going to change. Do you want to talk about the fact that $50 to $100 million of expenses on the WWE side needed to go? Do we want to talk about roster cuts? Do you want to talk about the TV deal? Where do you want to kind of begin? Or do we want to wait for Jimmy and talk about Perth, Elimination Chamber in Perth, or do we want to have fun with that and just talk about it without him?
So Jimmy just texted. He said he's gonna be here in like 10 minutes. So we'll wait for Perth. That's fine. Okay. I don't give a fuck anyway that it's gonna be. It doesn't make any difference to me that it's gonna be in Perth, but it will to Jimmy, right? It's right in his neck of the woods, even though it's a 32-hour drive from where he lives. People don't understand how gigantic that fucking country is.
It's a continent, bitches.
It is very, very large. That's what she said all the time. But yeah, man, listen, there's a couple of big things. First of all, the TV deal, we can understand from the price drop, that basically that upset some investors. It wasn't as high as they thought it was going to be, which again, like I was saying to Jimmy the other night, it's such a weird thing where you can make money, like a company can make money, and investors are upset because they didn't make as much money as they were expecting. It's like, but you made money. And then you'll hear people talk about it, and they're like, oh, yeah, this was a really disappointing year. They only made $400 million when they thought they were going to make $800 million. And it's like, they made $400 million worth of profit. Shut the fuck up. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. It's kind of like the whole Hollywood strike. Billionaires were arguing with millionaires, or when you see sports strikes or anything like that, you're like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Look, just because you didn't have as high of an expectation of a growth, you still had growth. You still had, something. And that's the thing. So let's say with the TV deal with Fox, I understand not wanting to pay a premium, but at the same time too, with WWE and with Fox, you got to look at it. They were still number one on Friday nights. They were in the $2.5 million viewer range. which outpaced anything that they had on Friday nights. But I can also understand for Fox going, look, why? So supposedly, Eric Bischoff said it this week on Strictly Business. He said he went in with Fox when they got there. Fox was expecting 4 to 6 million viewers on a Friday night.
Yep.
And I mean, it's like, are you watching wrestling? Are you seeing what's going on right now? Like Raw doesn't make that on a Monday night. Like, what makes you think that on a Friday night, which is the worst night of TV, that a wrestling show is going to make pull in 4 to 6 million people on a night? Like it makes no sense. I mean, your first show had The Rock, and you made what, 3.5?
Yeah.
And you lost 20 to 30% from there. It's the idea that Fox had unrealistic expectations, and I feel like those at the same time too. WWE didn't do anything to even attempt to make those expectations. It was like, apathy on one side because, hey, we're on network TV because they're going to need us. And then this one, your unrealistic expectations on the other side of like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you not meeting our expectations? When, hey, we're doing fine. We got 2.5 million people, and we're number one in the slot for Friday night.
Yep.
So it's now then becomes the question of, okay, if SmackDown moves to USA, as they're saying, what happens to Raw?
Right. Apparently, they're going to have to find somewhere else to air, which that's interesting.
Yeah. So or another day. Like, Chris, do you see them moving Raw to another day? Could you see that?
I have a really hard time seeing them moving Monday Night Raw, like a show that has been Monday Night Raw for as long as it's aired, to another night. I mean, I suppose they could. Most weekdays are considered, most weekdays, if you're airing at 8 o'clock, are considered to be prime time. It doesn't have to be Monday. They could do a Tuesday night show, and it would probably not. It would have a bit of a hiccup, at least for the first month or two. But after that, everybody who was watching Mondays would just be watching Tuesdays. But I have a hard time seeing them doing that, just because I think that it would be admitting that they don't have the power that they once thought they did, which is we can dictate when we're airing, and somebody can figure out a slot for us, kind of thing. Yeah, like I said, I think that's the big thing that sort of impacted the stock price right now. I've heard people say, "Oh, the releases are impacting the stock price." No, they're not. No. The people who own stock are happy when you're cutting. They are happy when you're firing, people who don't need to be there anymore. And keep in mind, like, who was fired? Very few of the talents were important. And essentially what happened in terms of the corporate releases was, because they merged with the UFC, they then had, 2 people for almost every corporate position that was filled already, right? So you've got a head of marketing over here, and you have a head of marketing over here, and you've got it's executive assistant to the head of marketing over here, and the executive assistant to the head of marketing on the other company. You just have too many people in positions where you don't need all that many people. It's like, we can definitely trim the fat here. I thought that the way that they did that they went about some of the corporate releases was pretty lame.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even get to come in and say goodbye. It's just, you know what? Work from home, and we'll call you if we're firing you.
Right.
Fuck.
That's pretty shitty, And I mean, but it's not like this isn't something we already have been talking about, so that's not the bigger deal. I think the interesting thing to me is WWE, which is the more profitable of the two entities that are merging. They say they have to cut $50 to $100 million, whereas UFC, which isn't as profitable and has more debt, is not taking on as much. It seems like, from what I've seen on the deals, they're not being asked to cut as much. Which I find very interesting on that. That you come into this merger in WWE, you tell WWE, hey, by this time you've got to cut $50 to $100 million. So again, that means roster cuts. Here's the next question, Chris. With this TV deal and these cuttings and these mergings, what happens to NXT? Are we going to start seeing the shuffling or shutdown of NXT altogether? Does it go back to a streaming service onto Peacock, like it originally had started? Or do we see something different other than, or does it continue to stay the course as what it is?
Listen, we could see something where they move forward doing something just a little bit differently. Right now, from what I understand, is they're actively looking to try to figure out what are we going to do with Raw, what are we going to do with NXT, because both of those shows have value. And listen, AEW they are being given money to air their shows, right? Not all of them. It certainly doesn't seem like they're running at much of a profit, if any, but they are being given money to air the shows, right?
Right.
And NXT is pretty close in numbers. I know that a couple weeks back, NXT, when Becky Lynch went down, NXT was 850 or something, 850,000 people watched. So, it's valuable. It's definitely valuable to somebody, not Fox, and that's fair, I think. Fox needs something they need something to hit because they've had a bunch of misses lately. Releasing Ben Shapiro in that is a big blow to the company. And I'm not talking about from a political sense. I don't care. I don't give a shit about any of that. There were 3 million people watching Fox News, and there's now about 750,000. So
because they've cut Shapiro, they cut Tucker Carlson. It seems like they've cut a lot of people.
Tucker Carlson. Did I say Ben Shapiro?
Yeah, you did.
It was Tucker Carlson.
Okay, all right. Like I don't even follow half that shit. So whoever works where is like, oh, was he there? Cool. I've heard that name before. It makes sense that he would be there. But in general, too, I think it feels like with this TV deal, if you're Fox, and WWE, this has got to be kind of a kick in the nuts a little bit. Because think of all the tie-ins you had with college football, with Friday night, with Sunday football and all those kind of things that they tied into. It felt like there was a lot of synergy in the sense of Fox's part of going, hey, we're going to advertise here this show that we have on Friday nights, and it kept wrestling. I don't want to say relevant, but it kept it in mind of, hey, Friday night's the night you want to watch wrestling. And it made it feel like a really big A show. And now you lose all that. You lose the fact that, and this is what I said from the beginning, this is why WWE would be stupid and just take whatever money Fox gives you, because you're going to make up for it in this offensive advertising, because it's free TV. You're not having to worry about, cable and a paywall or anything along those lines. Guess what? Now that Smackdown goes back to like cable. Guess who's not watching? This guy. I'm just going to be doing recaps because I don't have cable. I could watch it like if I really wanted to, but now it's going to be like I have to work to watch it, and I don't really feel like doing that. Whereas I could just sit down on my couch, turn on my TV with my rabbit ears, and watch Channel 4 on Fox TV, and here we go. Okay, cool. Not a big deal. And now I'm going to be like, all right, well, fuck it. I'll have Friday nights to do whatever, and I'll watch a 30-minute recap on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I think to me, there's times where leaders will cut off their nose and spite their face because they don't see the long term. Like, look, I get it. You didn't meet numbers, but if Fox is going to give you, hey, we're only going to bump you up, $10 million from the last thing, be like, you know what? Okay, fine, because that's more people we're going to be getting in the long run. That's more advertising we're going to get. We're going to have bigger sponsors who are going to be able to come and advertise with on network TV. It might be worth it in the long run for us outside of the initial payment. So
I think that's that's probably right in terms of the WWE's business, but we actually kind of need to stop talking about the WWE's business because there is no WWE's business. It's now
Right.
TKO's business, right? And what they need is an influx of fucking cash as soon as possible.
Sure.
So if NBC was saying, listen, we'll pay you $100 million more, but you're going to have less exposure, TKO's going, great. All they're hearing is $100 million more. That's all
Right.
they're hearing. They don't give a
True.
fuck.
Right. Right. And you're right. And that's, I guess that's the biggest change of mindset for me in the long run. But and I guess that goes back to the fact that you have the power though to go, hey, I'm TKO now. Not only do you get WWE, we'll throw in UFC. You know, and I know that UFC has a deal with ESPN though, so like being able to advertise on Fox is going to be a lot harder and all that kind of stuff. But you know, and I'm wondering how that's going to work because you know it's TKO now, it's a deal. So what I haven't seen what's the deal with ESPN and UFC and that partnership now that they're a new company. Have you read or seen anything on what happens with that, Chris? Because I haven't.
In terms of what?
And you know how UFC had a partnership with ESPN and broadcasting rights and exclusivity and things like that. Now that they're a brand new company and like, hey, WWE, like, are they still? I know that they're together, but are they still kind of separate as far as their media distribution goes?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The media distribution is going to continue to be completely different. They might look to do something where there's more synergy, you know, the next time they can renew or whatever. But the fact is that these two entities don't actually have a lot of synergy, right? Like one is live sports, one is the live. I don't even know what to call wrestling anymore. It's not really. They're athletes, okay, but it's not really a sport as much as it is a play. It's a live play, basically.
Right.
You know. So they're very, very different things. The USA Network is going to be interested in WWE, probably less interested in the UFC. Whereas, you know, an ESPN, you know, the sports network, they're going to want something that's live sports and not so much the live sporty-ish sort of thing. You know what I mean? So, but they'll
I mean,
probably look to have some synergy between the two brands. But yeah.
But I mean, we've seen them dabble with wrestling, you know, with ESPN, and I guess that's the question is, you know, tangentially, will they dabble now that UFC is kind of involved or not? I don't know. I find this whole merger fascinating because, like you said, they're in a way there's not a lot of synergy between the two, but yet now they're this massive company that are coming together, and it's like, okay, how are we going to make this work? Like, you know, it feels weird to have a company where you have two entities where one's on ESPN and one's on NBC and that are rivals. And it's like, hey, we're fighting against each other to get broadcasting rights and things like that. And then you would think at some point, like, okay, look, guys, we need to renegotiate. Because in theory, though, then, Chris, don't we have to have two different people to handle broadcasting rights and things for WWE versus UFC if we're going to do that?
Well, no, you can like Ari Emanuel, for instance, right? He basically began his career as an agent, right? And he would negotiate for one of his clients with this company and negotiate for another one of his clients with this other company, right? So, I mean, you can still have the, you know, the head of negotiations or whatever, and they can negotiate WWE with USA and ESPN with UFC. They can try, they can ask questions, they can certainly put feelers out to see if there's somebody who's going to be interested in doing something, you know, on a more permanent full-time basis, if they can make more money with it. You know, people have asked about streaming. I don't know if streaming services are ever going to be really interested in the WWE, or if the WWE is ever going to be really interested in streaming services, because in order to make that work, you would probably have to have a delay on the live show. And most wrestling fans ain't watching a delay on the live show on Netflix. It just isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Plus, you'd have the whole thing about trying to get all of the other episodes, all of the other quote unquote seasons of Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. It's just it's a logistical nightmare. I think it's one of those things that I don't think is going to happen, at least not until we have some other significant step in the technology that allows for that to be a more seamless or easy transition. But right now, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I guess my next question is: we have UFC, we have whatever. I'm assuming this doesn't affect the Saudi money that comes in for WWE, and
I don't know if I froze or you froze just now, John, but somebody did. Chat, can you tell me, am I still here or is John still here? Who froze? I feel like John froze. John froze. Okay. Well, I'll keep talking then, I guess, while John's gone. We can talk a little bit about, well, he was asking about the Saudi Arabia deal, right? Um, so with the Saudi Arabia deal, I don't think that it's going to be terribly impacted in terms of what the Saudi Arabians were giving to the WWE because they want that. But I think that this is one of those situations where they're going to have a real opportunity, like a real opportunity to have that synergistic, relationship between the two different companies, right? So, um, there's John. Hi, John.
look, I don't know what the fuck happened. I have full internet and everything. It's just being weird.
It's all good. Anyway, I was answering your question. There's going to be
Okay.
an opportunity with the Saudi Arabia thing for them to have a real synergistic moment there
Sure.
where like the Saudis want WWE real bad, right?
Sure.
But they also want UFC real bad. So you're going to have an opportunity where they can really try these things out, where they have like a multiple show weekend, right? Where they go over to Saudi Arabia for a Smackdown and then a pay-per-view, and the UFC does a pay-per-view, and they do a Monday Night Raw, and you know what I mean? They're going to have an opportunity to have like a really big moment at some point there where they've got everything going on. And I think Saudi Arabia is probably the perfect place to attempt it because the money that exists within Saudi Arabia and the desire that some of the people over there have for entertainment is huge over there right now. So that's going to be a really good opportunity for them to try it out. That'll be a testing ground for sure.
Right. And I mean, and kind of the reason why I brought this up too is I saw it got floated out there that there are talks of possibly Cristiano Ronaldo coming to WWE. And I'm like, no, that's stupid. But then I realized, wait, WWE is heavily involved with Saudis, and so is Ronaldo now. Yeah, he's involved with Saudis. So could we see the Prince of Saudi who runs everything be like, hey, I like Ronaldo. Why don't you put him in wrestling? I like that too. Let's put those two guys together. That'll really be fun. Like, it's the utmost ridiculousness with the Saudis, but they seem to be able to put like the dumbest shit together. And, or the fact that like, hey, we want Hulk Hogan and we
We
want
want the Ultimate Warrior to wrestle.
Yokozuna. Oh yeah, they're fucking dead, dude.
They've been dead for a while.
Right. I just saw that story and I found it incredibly hilarious and so like ridiculous that that's something Saudi would do. They would go, hey, let's put Ronaldo in with wrestling. How fun would that be?
Why not?
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
I mean, are we to the point with the Saudis that like we just recognize they have a shit ton of money and they're just having fun with us at this point? I mean, is that what it is? Really?
That is what it is. And people get mad about it, and I actually don't get mad about this kind of thing because throughout time, you're always going to have ups and downs. Every culture is going to have ups and downs. They're going to have moments when they're rich. They're going to have moments when they're struggling. It's like when affirmative action was basically deleted in the United States, right? I had argued that it's a good thing that it doesn't exist anymore. And people have said, well, if there's no affirmative action, then all of the lawyers and doctors over the next 20 years are going to be Asians and Jews. And my reaction to that is good. If they're going to be the best doctors and lawyers and they're going to be Asians and Jews, let the best fucking doctors be Asians and Jews then. Right. I don't want a less qualified doctor who's German. I don't want a less qualified lawyer who's, Ethiopian. I don't want that. Like, if we're going to just let it all happen. So in terms of the Saudi Arabians right now, they've got a shit ton of money, an absolutely fucking like bank full of money to just spend, and they're gonna do it, and it's gonna look really and you know, oh, the poor people next to them, and it's sad, and it's very sad. But what's going to happen is 100 years from now, those fucking people are going to be super rich and the Saudis are going to be poor, because that is the fucking march of history, my friends.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. It's just a matter of rolling with the fucking punches. That's
Right.
what you got to do.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, right now, if you take away all of affirmative action in terms of the you know, the colleges and stuff like that, we're going to have a huge influx of Jewish people and Asian people being doctors and lawyers. You know,
Yeah.
for the next 20 years, it'll be full of Jews and Asians all over the goddamn place in those fields. And maybe, hopefully, eventually, people in other cultures, the Germans, the Poles, the Russians, the blacks, the Mexicans, they'll look at that and they'll say, what are the Asians and Jews doing that allows their children to be so successful in these situations? We need to start doing those things too. And then everyone will come up, right?
Yeah.
High tides raise all ships.
Yeah. Iron sharpens
That's the
iron.
point.
Iron sharpens iron. You know, I mean, it's that same idea. I agree with that. And but I'm getting a request for more angry Chris. So
I see that. We can talk about releases. Let's go ahead and have a conversation.
Well, we'll get into that, but first, because I need to know about this, because I figured this will get you pissed. It says, "Shout out to my guy Stevie. What happened to him was being." I don't know anything about this because, again, I don't keep up with a lot, because especially the last 2 weeks I've been fundraising like crazy. We still have more to do, and I have some more stuff to take care of fundraising wise. So tell me what happened to Rick Stevie, and then give me your angry rant on that. Like.
Okay, did you see the fucking John Moxley clips from this week where he got concussed early on in the match against Phoenix?
Yes,
and they continued with the match.
The ending. Yeah,
Phoenix dropped him on his fucking head with a pile driver. The referee counted 1, 2, and then pretended like his fucking shoulder come up, although it absolutely fucking didn't. Right. And then John Moxley said, "Do it again." So Phoenix picked him up again and dropped him on his fucking head again. And then the referee finally counted to 3. Right, yeah. So. Basically, Stevie was doing one of his you know, his newest videos where he breaks things down. By the way, Stevie's breakdown videos are fucking brilliant.
They're amazing.
Watching. It's like mini college fucking courses on professional wrestling. It's so fucking awesome to watch. Right?
They're amazing.
He's so good at what he does.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps me that most of what he's breaking down is Bret Hart being brilliant, but I digress. So anyway. Basically, what had happened was he did a video breaking down all of the fuck ups, right? He did a video breaking down all of these fuck ups that were happening, and then he told a story about how, you know, when Undertaker was concussed at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar, Vince actually left WrestleMania. He got in the fucking ambulance. He got in the ambulance with Taker and went with Taker to the hospital, right? And then how did Tony Khan respond to what happened with John Moxley? And then there's a video of John Moxley coming out, and there's a video of John Moxley of him coming out after John Moxley got injured, and he's doing the fucking dance with Daniel Garcia or whatever, right? And if you know Stevie, you know if Stevie's cussing you out, you did something really fucking bad. Like you fucked up when Stevie's cussing you out, right? Right. There's no, oh, Stevie's mad and Stevie's being mean. No, Stevie's not being mean. You fucked up is the reason why Stevie's cussing you out, right? And so basically, like, Stevie showed this, and then, you know, he's like, yeah, he's dancing, isn't that funny? And then Stevie pauses it and looks right in the camera, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, Stevie was pissed, right? And rightfully fucking so, right?
Sure.
The match should have been stopped as soon as Moxley was clearly concussed.
Right.
The referee needs to count to 3. If your fucking shoulders are down, referees count to 3. It doesn't fucking matter. You're going to get heat in the backstage. Somebody's going to go, oh, that wasn't the spot. That wasn't the spot. And your reaction is, then kick out, motherfucker. Right.
That's your job.
That's my job, is to count to 3. Okay. I don't have a difficult job, but I have to count to 3. Right? 1, 2, 3. Okay. You didn't get your shoulder up. Get the fuck out. Match is over. Okay.
Right.
Oh, you did get your shoulder up. Okay, good. We can keep going with the story. That's great. The referee needs to fucking call it like a shoot. And if he doesn't, then it buries then it buries everything, man. It just completely buries professional wrestling. You don't have a basis for your story if you don't have referees. Okay. You have no logical explanation as to why anyone does anything. All right. So fucking Don Stevens there. We know who Don Stevens is, right? It's actually Aubrey Hepburn there, or whatever the fuck her name is. Aubrey Edwards. Okay, so she basically got Stevie's account, got Stevie's video taken down because they claimed copyright to everything, including a song that Stevie had over the video, which is literally Stevie's song. So, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, bro. So and then I think just after that they also got AEW botches suspended from Twitter. So the whole channel got suspended from Twitter. So they're just really mad because people are noticing that they're fucking things up. But yeah, Mike Knox, is that what his name is? Rick Knox?
Rick Knox.
Rick Knox, fuck off, man. Count to 3. That's your goddamn job, okay? And if you see that a guy's clearly concussed, if I'm watching the fucking show and I knew right away, oh, Mox is fucked up.
Right. You throw up the X. You throw up the X right there.
You throw up that's it? Okay, no, we're done now. We're done. The fucking match is over. I don't care how tough you are, John. I don't care. You can curse me out in the backstage. You can punch me in the face if you want. You have a concussion, the fucking match is over. That's it. Get the fuck out. You got to protect people from themselves. Yeah. That's the thing about professional wrestlers.
Especially Moxley. That fucker. Yeah. Hey, real quick before we go, I just want to point out the synergy of our screens right now because, like, your window kind of really mirrors my window right here. Right. So it's like, hey.
Feels like if I reach in, I'm going to reach in and touch your face.
Like, I'm kind of tickling you right now. Anyway. Anyway, I mean, your job is to protect the wrestlers, to be seen but not be seen, and to count to fucking 3. And if you get called for that, if you see something, you stop the fucking match. Like, what the hell? Like, I mean, I saw the video, and I saw, like, I think they even had it on, like, the AEW page of the Moxley, whatever, the Phoenix match, and, like, you could see him get fucked up. And I'm like,
fucked up, bro.
He got fucked up bad.
And listen, before the pile drivers, right? Those were pretty egregious. That he was clearly dropped on his fucking head twice in a row.
Right.
Before the pile drivers, he was fucked.
Yeah.
The start of the match was Phoenix hitting a dive because they had the ramp level with the stage.
I hate it when they do that.
Right?
Oh fuck.
Well, by the way, that caused at least 3 other injuries that night, aside from Mox. So they had that, and then there was a spot where Phoenix jumped off the ramp and then beside the ring and lands on top of Mox, right?
Yeah.
Immediately, Phoenix crawled over to Mox and touched his hand, right? Which is something wrestlers do to check. Like,
right.
Are you okay? Right?
And you're supposed to squeeze. Right.
You're supposed to squeeze if you're okay. All right. He squeezed. Right. But he was pretty clearly concussed after that because there were several spots during the rest of the match where he looked to be just standing there going, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing next?
Right.
At one point, he flipped off the crowd and it was clear he was just buying time because he didn't know what he was doing. There was another point in the time where he hit a move and then he stood up and he was just sort of wobbling there and he flipped off Phoenix with both fingers, like as Phoenix was selling Phoenix, haha. But like he was, he was selling, and Moxley just flipped him off with the double bird, and like you could see his body wobble while he was doing it, clearly concussed already. And then they dropped him on his fucking head twice. Like, guys, if I can see it, you need to be able to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, when Mox says do it again, he doesn't mean drop him on his fucking head again. He means pin him one more time to fucking, like, you don't know, fucker, don't pick me up and do it again. I'm already fucked up. Like, count again. And I mean,
or do something else. If the guy's saying, listen, we need to go home because my head's fucked. I think I have a concussion, guy. Give me whatever your finish is, and then the dude drops you on your head. Holy fuck. Phoenix, we see what you can do. Hit him with a fucking frog splash for the
Yeah,
3. What
yeah,
are you doing?
yeah. Like I don't need to see Phoenix trying to pick up people and dropping them on their heads. I need to see Phoenix at best like flying through the air and frog splash or whatever. Do something simple,
Jesus.
elbow drop. I don't give a shit at that point. But but the fact that fucking Aubrey Edwards had the fucking balls, or doesn't have the fucking balls, one, to put her own name, but two, to like have that removed because you're being called out for being dangerous to one of your own wrestlers. And
Mhm.
that you're calling out Rick Knox, who, by the way, the only reason he has a referee job is because he's friends with the Young Bucks and he
Oh,
was
of
at
course.
PWE and that whole
Oh.
thingy about like that's the whole bit. He was the wrestler at Pro Wrestling Gorilla, and he got to be like they were all buddies, and that was the whole beginning of bit. It was like, hey, Rick Knox is our guy. We want him to be a part of AEW. And like, I mean, he was solid for a little bit, but lately, this last year or two, he's been complete and utter shit. It's like him and Aubrey Edwards are sharing notes on how to be the worst fucking referees in the entire world. You know, I don't get it. And the fact that we're hearing stories about Aubrey Edwards saying like, walking up to people, don't you know who I am? And I'm, like, and like having sign like going to conventions and nobody coming to her table to do signings because Aubrey Edwards, you're not over. We don't give a shit about you. You're a referee. We're not supposed to give a shit about you. You
Yeah,
know?
the very best thing that you can say about a referee once they retire is, wow, yeah, they were there for that long. I honestly don't even think I ever noticed them.
Yeah.
I didn't know who the fuck Jimmy Corderas was till he retired.
Yeah.
Jimmy Corderas is one of the greatest fucking referees in the modern era. He's
Yeah.
so fucking good at being a referee. And you can listen to him give his fucking opinions and stuff, and every single thing he says is kayfabe, brother. Kayfabe, 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 kayfabe. And it's like, what the fuck happened to where we used to be? That used to be what wrestling was. You were trying to trick people into believing it was real. Now it's just, look at the fun move I can do.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just, for fuck's sake, like, hey, hey, AEW, how about getting your heads out of your ass? Tony Khan, pay attention to your fucking show. The moment you see John Moxley, who is notorious for not for endangering himself. I mean, the dude fucking will do anything to hurt himself. It feels like he's a masochist or a sadist. I never remember which one is which. I think what sadist is they like the pain, or I don't know, or they like giving. I can't remember. It's one of the two. Look, I have started to delve into some different lifestyle choices because why not? It's fun. But
Masochists like
masochist
pain. Yeah.
like the pain. Yeah. So but he's notorious
Sadists
for
like to make other people
inflict.
feel pain. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Marquis de Sade. Yeah. Okay. There you go. I got it. Okay. Noted. Remember. Yeah. So he's notorious for being, self-destructive, and he's replaced the self-destructive habit of alcohol with wrestling. I feel like it feels like since he stopped drinking, he's gotten a lot more dangerous in the ring, especially to himself. I don't know. Maybe that's me personally, and this is just complete and utter shit. Hey, if you can't handle the criticism, then don't put your shit out there. You know what? Guess what? People watch our show, they listen to our show, and if they think we suck, cool. Okay, tell me.
Yeah.
Whether you think your stuff is your criticism is constructive or not, it's out there. My stuff is out there. I don't. You're gonna say something. Okay, well, cool. I'm gonna have to deal with that. And guess what? Most of the time, I don't give a shit because I have a microphone and you don't. To quote Adam Sandler from The Wedding Singer.
It's a good movie.
But
It's a great movie.
great movie. It's one of his better ones that he's done. But I personally, really feel like this is, and not because it's Stevie. I mean, granted, I love Stevie. Stevie is a national treasure. He should be protected as like the president. The man is a fucking treasure. I would literally take a bullet for Stevie Richards. He is awesome. Just out
legitimately good dude.
legitimately,
yeah.
I mean, just yes. And so, but putting that to the side, the fact that you can't handle the bullshit of going, oh well, people are talking bad about us, and so let's find ways to take it down. Why? Fuck, I can't even put into words how angry this makes me right now because it's so fucking petty and stupid.
Well, and the other thing too is that this is something that specifically they said they weren't going to do. Like when AEW first began, like this was asked in some of the interview questions. This was asked, and they said, "Oh no, we're not gonna do that to the fans. If fans want to criticize us, they can feel free to no, thin skin motherfuckers."
No. To quote the Kime Mutombo. But yeah, look, whoa. I don't know if you got more angry or I got more angry in that one, but this is my initial reaction to it. You probably feel like you've had a little bit more time to see everything this play out. I hadn't seen it. I'd seen something about Aubrey Edwards, and people were posting like Don Stevens, and it was pictures of Aubrey Edwards, and I'm going like, okay, whatever. I don't get what was going on, but now that I know, I'm going to say this right now. I really didn't care about Aubrey Edwards, but I'm going to say this one time. Fuck Aubrey Edwards. I hope that, you stop having a career in wrestling and you have to go back to being the mediocre person that you are. And then guess what? Because I'm not going to say I dislike you or hate you or whatever, because that would imply actual caring of some sort. I'm going to go back not giving a shit about you, because that's what I feel the level of attention you deserve.
That'll hurt her feelings a lot more.
Right. Who? Yeah. Like anytime she tweets now, because I haven't been blocked yet, I want to go, wait, who are you? I feel like that would be an appropriate response to every Aubrey Edwards tweet or thing she puts out publicly going, wait, who are you? Oh, wait, I don't care. Never mind.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway. All right, let's talk roster cuts. All right. So this is the list I have as of, let's see. This is as of 14 hours ago. Granted, we're going to start from the bottom. We're going to work our way up, and we're going to see the level of people that we go. So we have Abdul Abdad Fitzgerald got cut. I don't even know who you were. See you later. Brooklyn Barlow. Don't even know who you are. See you later. I'm assuming NXT developmental people. Alexis Gray. Don't know who you are. See you later. Daniel MacArthur. Don't know who you are. See you later. Kevin Ventura Cortez. Repeating the same thing as before. Bryson Montana. Same thing. Quincy Elliott. Wasn't that the androgynous dude?
It's a big fat guy with bitch titties. That's what I've heard. I haven't seen him. Thank the fucking Lord for that. But yeah, fat dude with bitch titties. He's gone now.
Yeah. So I did see something about it a while back, but he hadn't been on TV in forever. But yes, he was doing kind of an androgynous, diva, whatever thingy. So
yeah. Well, bye-bye. Girl, bye.
Yeah, girl, bye. Peace. It was like their trolling of Sunny Kiss. It felt like in a worse way.
Cool.
Ulisa Leon. I don't know who that is. See you later.
Bye.
Ikemen Euro. Again,
nope.
Don't know who that is. See you later. Shanky is gone.
Oh no.
No more Shanky. Oh, so bad. Shanky's gone.
That's a shame.
Right? I mean, I felt like that hurts. Dabakato, bye-bye.
Bye. I actually think that he's a talented guy. I think he's much more talented than Omos, to be honest with you. I think he's way cleaner in the ring. But am I sad? No.
No, not really. No, not very much. Some people are going to be happy about this one. Dana Brooke.
Yeah, I know.
See you later.
I know. Todd Brantley listen, if you guys know Todd, just reach out to him. Make sure he's okay. He's very upset. You know.
Here we go. I care more about Dana Brooke. When you make me like Dana Brooke more than you have officially fucked up.
Yes.
Todd, I'm sorry, my friend. I'll send you a Dana Brooke fleshlight. How about that? Will that make you feel better?
How are you gonna get your hand? Never mind. I don't want to know.
Look, I know things. I know people. Okay. All right. We've proven that already, Chris. Have we not? Okay.
Yeah.
Mansoor and Mace, maximum male models. Bye-bye.
Don't care.
Yeah. Supposedly they went on Twitch and revealed a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Them apparently Vince liked them a lot and thought they were great and cut up with him, but apparently not enough to keep you from getting cut, motherfucker. You know?
Yeah. I don't think Vince. Again, I've said this to Jimmy on the show, like after the thing finally went through. I don't think Vince has a lot of actual power in this company right now, and I think that was designed that way.
Yeah, and I mean, we've already seen, and there's reports out that Vince can be removed if some of the things from this investigation come out and cause him, issues. That Vince can be removed from the board and things along those lines. Mm-hmm. So, look, you can't tell me Vince has power if things happen and they decide they want to cut him loose. They can cut him loose. So, yeah. But yeah, and they went and told a whole bunch of stories and said a whole bunch of stuff about. The biggest one I got was the backstage thing with Gunther and Matt Riddle, and that Riddle slapped him in the face, and Gunther didn't do anything.
What are you gonna do? Matt Riddle was an actual contender in the UFC. What the fuck are you going to do?
Right.
You're just gonna get the shit kicked out of you more.
It's not like CM Punk, who got slapped around by low-level UFC fighters. This is a legit fighter who fought many people and was, let's be honest, he was a pretty good MMA fighter who made his way to the wrestling ring. Yeah, you just eat that shit and go, okay, all right, moving on. But,
plus, like, knowing a little bit about the way Triple H sort of sees things backstage, if you take a slap from somebody in an altercation and just walk away, Hunter's going to think you got big balls for that. That's the kind of thing that Hunter's going to say, "Oh, we don't got to worry about this fucking guy having problems backstage, do we?"
Right. If anything, it makes Riddle look like he's the problem, which, we'll get there in a second. So we have Rick Boogs is gone. Again, this is another one of those guys that I felt like he got over on himself, by himself, and they didn't know what to do with him. And here it is. See you later. And speaking of another roster cut, here's another roster cut right here. Jimmy T.
I got rehired. That's what happened. I got released. I got future endeavored, and then I got rehired. You can never fire me, damn it.
When we wanted to talk about the one story that involved you, you just now fucking show up 40 minutes later, and we have to put that story ahead. Like,
I was sleeping, dude. That's why I woke up, and I needed to have a fucking shower, man. That's fucking my mind.
Jimmy's excuses have gotten more and more legitimate over time, right?
Well, it's legit.
At one point, it was like, somebody stole me bicycle. And it was
that's true, dude. Yeah. That was true. You think I'm lying about that?
And now he's just straight up like, I was asleep.
He doesn't believe me about the bike.
Listen, guys, I smoked some weed and I passed out. I'm sorry. It's not my fault.
Dude, look at my eyes. They're white as fuck. I haven't even had a...
This is where you and I are different, Jimmy. Like, if I wake up and I had to do this show, I would not take a fucking shower. Which, by the way, hey, I woke up at 7:30 this morning before the show, and I still haven't showered yet. I'm okay with that. Why? Because I'm not.
You smelly fuck.
Because nobody. I go.
Smell you from here. No.
I woke up. I came here. There's nobody here, and y'all aren't gonna. We're not having smell-o-vision, so showers aren't necessary. And I'll shower.
It's just me, dude. It's just me because I woke up and I got sleep in my eyes and shit like that, man. Like I don't feel comfortable. You know what I mean?
Wash rag, face, boom, done.
That still takes just as much time in some ways than just fucking having a rinse. You know what I mean?
Wash rag to the face, and that's it. That's all you got to do. Like, I'm not saying wash rag your entire body. Like,
You want to tell me how to wash my balls too? Is that what's happening now?
No, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to do that, motherfucker. You just wash your face.
Maybe not how, but when.
Yeah.
Like, you could do it before the show.
I'm curious now. When do you do it actually?
Oh, like whenever I normally shower?
Yeah.
Like, well, normally during the week I'm up at 5 in the morning and I go to the gym and then I work out and then I come home, I eat breakfast and then I shower before I go to work. So that's what I do. On Saturdays it's more chill, so I'm like, guess what? I don't have anything to do. I'm not going anywhere. So I'm going to shower after the show. Because if I have a date or if I have something to do, then I'll do it afterwards. So.
Oh well, fuck, man. It's getting warm here, man. I just felt like I needed to, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm here. Honesty is the best policy, as the Common King says, and that's me.
That's you.
And Retro Rocket Review saying ball washing 101 every Saturdays,
every
here
Saturday.
on channelattitude.com.
All right, let's talk about the next. So we've gotten about halfway through the list. Oh no, we're about 2/3 through the list.
Wait. Did you guys talk about the Australian event yet?
No, that's what I just said.
Good.
We've been waiting for you, motherfucker.
That's good.
That was going to be my first story, and we agreed to wait until you came on the show.
Right. That's cool. That's good. Perfect.
Look, who's your friend who thinks about you? Okay. All right. Next. I don't know if anybody's surprised by this or sad about it, but Top Dollar has been released. Who now has the most embarrassing picture with a belt, surprising Paige. You know,
exactly.
You know, so there's that. Top Dollar, and I find it interesting that Top Dollar was released, but not the other two.
Yeah, I would have got rid of Ashanti the Adonis straight off the bat too, but for whatever reason, Top Dollar. Look, that doesn't mean the others won't get fired still. I mean, apparently there's going to be more releases due by the end of the weekend. So
well, I mean that's what I said. This is as of 14 hours ago. So, and then Aaliyah, shocker. See you later. God. It's about fucking time. That's all I gotta say with that one. Riddick Moss has been released.
Thank fuck, another one. Get him out of here.
And then his significant other, Emma, has been released again.
Oh,
that surprises me. I'll tell you why that surprises me.
The Australian version of Bret Hart was released.
Stop saying that, goddamn. Well, you even admitted she's a good wrestler. We can all agree to that. But
I'm not agreeing to that shit. Don't put words in my mouth, sir.
Emma's a good worker. Emma can work her ass off, actually. But
real talk about that, right? For the record, why did they even rehire her when I think she only had one match since she got rehired, dude? And when did she get rehired? What, like 5 months ago, if that?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. But, you know, the thing that cracks me up the most about this with her is, hey, look, Elimination Chamber is going to be in my home country of Perth. Wait, never mind. I got released.
Yeah, that's harsh, man. I'm not gonna lie. That was harsh.
I know that's probably wrong, but I laughed my ass off about that.
Dude, I cringed when I saw her write that, and no shit. Maybe an hour later, I noticed. Oh, it looks like I've been released from WWE.
Never mind, I've been released. I was like, shit. Oh my god, that's hilarious. All right, next, Mustafa Ali has gone the way of the dodo. I mean, the dude's been wanting his release for like the last 2 years. I mean, you know. Oh, hey, are we taking pictures, Jimmy?
It's just because I had a friend try calling me, and I just wanted to show him that I'm in the middle of a show, so just in case he doesn't believe me. Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is not surprising because the dude's been wanting his release for the last 2 or 3 years. I mean.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, and he gets bounced around, you know, more than a basketball. Elias is gone. Again,
I guess WWE doesn't stand for Walk with Elias, right?
Well, I mean, another guy who got over on his own. You know?
Yeah, true. It's true.
Get ready for all Elias wrestling.
Oh, no. But he won't be able to use Elias.
Yeah.
It'll be just Elias.
All Ezekiel wrestling.
Now,
all Evan wrestling.
Oh, yeah, Evan. What was his last name again? Oh, yeah, Sampson, wasn't it? Elias Sampson?
I don't know.
Technically, I'm pretty sure it was. If someone in the chat correct me if I'm wrong. So it'll be Evan Sampson, all elite.
I don't know. But hey, he got baptized in the Jordan River, so that's important.
Yeah, that's
So there
true.
you go.
Or
Just recently.
Sam Eliason.
Sam Eliason. There you go.
Sam Eliason.
Yeah.
What is Sam Eliason doing in the impact zone?
Yeah. All right. So these last three are, I think, the biggest ones, which like I understand, but I'm also like, okay, like one, Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, that's a shocker for me.
Well, I mean, the dude is almost like 50, right? I mean, the dude is wrestling. He's a solid worker. He does great things in the ring. They've never used the man. That's the biggest problem. Like look, when they did the Hurt Business stuff and him with Bobby Lashley and Cedric Kelly, like, look, Shelton Benjamin made that group. Like, he was very legitimate. I enjoyed Shelton Benjamin, but they just never used him. It felt like they hired him back because he was doing well in New Japan on his own. Hey, let's bring him back. And they didn't do anything with him again. They just sat on him like they did before he left. And now the dude is, like, where does he go from here? Does he continue to wrestle? Like, that's the thing is, like, what does that guy do at this point? Wrestling wise, does he continue to wrestle? I don't know. But that was an interesting one to me, because from all accounts, he's a great locker room guy, solid in the ring. I mean, probably him and this next person, Dolph Ziggler, are probably two of the most solid people in the ring that you had on that company. And Dolph Ziggler get let go 20 years. John Cena tweeted that he had 1,500 and something matches.
Even The Rock, man. Everyone's praising, even Ric Flair. Everyone's absolutely giving Ziggler his flowers right now, man.
Well, I mean, he had the second most active matches in WWE history behind Kane.
That's amazing, man.
He had 1,500 matches. I mean, that's pretty. Look, and I mean, almost 20 years in the company. That's a big deal. And supposedly, like, he, after the first time with the title, Vince said he's not a top guy, and which is why he languished after that point. But the dude is solid. I think.
And just because, listen, here's the thing that I have. Here's my problem with how they booked Dolph Ziggler. It's not that they didn't let him be a top guy after that, because maybe they're right. Maybe he's not a top guy. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Still book him consistently in the mid card then.
Right.
Like, you don't have to bury the fucking guy, and then every single time he does something to get himself over, you bury him again. I remember, I think it was Survivor Series. Was it Survivor Series? Yeah, it was Survivor Series. When it was the WWE guys against the Authority, right? And, if the Authority lost, then they would lose their authority. And everybody from Team WWE got eliminated. And then Ziggler went on a fucking run where he just ran through everybody on the team, right? Including Seth Rollins, right? This included multiple times where he had the match won and Triple H came in and interrupted, right? All this stuff, and they built him up as this like conquering hero. And then Sting comes in at the end to help him so that the Authority are no longer the Authority.
Survivor Series.
Right. And then Sting comes in. That's his debut, right? It's really cool. It's a big moment, right? So, and I remember the next night on Raw, I remember this because I remember how much I was just like, oh, fuck off. Was Triple H is in the ring and he's going, last night, someone cost us the authority of the WWE. And the whole fucking arena is chanting. The whole fucking arena is chanting, Ziggler, 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 Ziggler. And he goes, yeah, Sting. And it was like, oh, you fucking jackasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest. After the Spirit Squad, he got the name and being the caddy for Chavo Guerrero during the Kerwin White stuff.
I remember that.
His name is basically a play off Dirk Diggler. And getting that shit over. I mean, look, the dude knows how to work. He knows how to get things over. And yeah, I agree. He was done poorly. You should have let him be that mid-card guy, gatekeeper to the top like Miz is now. But even, have these, undercard titles and things along those lines. Solid
Let him be an Intercontinental Championship or U.S. Championship guy. Let him be the guy who's,
honestly,
waiting around and can go for that fucking belt again.
Yeah.
Honestly, boys, I think we might be reading too much into the Ziggler release, because don't be surprised if he asked for his release.
Oh, I'm not worried about the release. I think that the
Right.
release
Yeah.
makes sense. They weren't
Yeah.
doing
Right.
anything with him anyway, and I think that he has been asking for his release. I think he's been
It's true.
relatively quiet about it, but I think he's been wanting to go do something else for a while. Good for him. I mean, what I'm talking about is his career. They dropped the ball on his career. Never mind this week. I mean, the entire time he's been there, he's been misused and miscast.
Right.
Well,
I mean, he has the most that he can do after wrestling. Like, he's doing his stand-up. He's doing some small roles and shows and other things like that. And if he wants to go to AEW, he can with his brother. But, I mean, he has, he doesn't have to wrestle, though. He has inroads and things that he can do outside of wrestling. I feel like this doesn't hurt him at all. To move forward.
And if he wants to get back into wrestling, he can go to AEW as soon as the 90-day clause is up. They'll sign him. They'll have him come in and win the TNT championship on his first fucking night if he wants it. Dolph Ziggler will be considered a huge get for them because he can work, and he can work. He is an excellent professional wrestler. He's not exciting, or maybe he is, and the WWE just never let him be exciting.
Right.
Well,
that's the thing that I think is actually possible here.
Yeah. Well, to be fair to Ziggler, I mean, he's won every championship. He's a Grand Slam champion. You know what I mean? He has been there and done that. So at least you can say that. He's conquered everything in WWE, regardless if his run was pretty pathetic. He's still, I mean, who can forget the Raw after Mania years ago when he cashed his money in the bank? I'll never forget that pop against Alberto Del Rio. That whole place went unglued when he cashed that in and beat, what's his name, Alberto Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Best cash in ever, and I'm including Seth Rollins at Mania. I think it's
right
best.
up there.
I think it's the best one.
I think it was really good. It was easily the best one. And I just feel like he's one of those guys that even if he doesn't, I can see him being a backstage agent or producer and being really good.
He should have been.
I could, if he decides, I don't really feel like wrestling, but I'll produce or be an agent. I think that would be fun. I could see him doing that, and because it feels like he has a good handle on the business. He knows what goes on and what he needs to do. So, all right, let's talk about the last one, the biggest one, Matt Riddle. Are we shocked by this at all?
No,
at all.
I mean, he was on his last legs. Let's be real. And then he was accusing of a cop sexually harassing him at JFK. Come on.
The dude has more, he's got issues, he's got problems, and he burned too many bridges, I feel like, at WWE. So this does not surprise me at all. And then, of course, you have UFC being involved in it now, too, with TKO, who already
don't
knew.
Don't be surprised, Don't be surprised if that has a lot to do with it, too, man, because Dana White, it's no secret that Dana hates his guts.
So do you think that had anything to do with it, Chris, at all? You feel like the new UFC partnership maybe contributed to it a little bit?
No, I've already went on this rant a couple of times, so everybody's going to get a well-rehearsed rant at this point.
We spoke about it yesterday, didn't we, Chris?
Matt Riddle is a perpetual fuck-up. And I mean, every single thing he does, he fucks up. I don't mean, poor Matt, things go bad for him, and, he's got all these opportunities, and it just doesn't work out for poor Matt. No. Fuck that. Matt Riddle has every opportunity in this world. He should have been a top contender in the UFC. He really should have. He is that good. He really is an excellent fucking cage fighter. Okay? And he fucked that up because he couldn't just stay away from the weed for a 6-week fucking period before the fucking matches started. Bro, seriously, I get it, okay? I get it. I get you like your weed and everything, and I'm happy for you. I don't personally give a fuck about you having your weed. Have as much fucking weed as you want. I run a podcasting program with Jimmy, okay? I don't care how much weed you smoke. For it. Doesn't fucking matter to me, okay? But
as a matter of fact, I have one right now.
But dude, all you have to do is stay off the shit for 6 fucking weeks leading up to a fight. That's it. That's all I got. Just 6 weeks. And you're going to, if you win, you can make $50,000. Jimmy, if I told you I would give you $50,000
Don't even have
for
to say
going
anything
6
more.
weeks without
Yeah.
without smoking weed, you'd be like,
Fuck
fuck this. I don't need this shit.
Absolutely.
Give me $50,000.
In a heartbeat, bro.
No, Matt Riddle couldn't be fucked. Couldn't be fucking bothered to stay off of the weed long enough to get a fucking clean bill of health. So he'd win, and then it would be, no, I guess you didn't actually win, Matt. We can't actually move forward with your career because the commission won't allow us to move forward with your career because you are a perpetual fuck up. He gets to the WWE. He's got the look. He's got the background. He's got the work. He can absolutely do this shit with his fucking eyes closed in terms of physically. He is gifted beyond belief, fucks it all up multiple times in multiple different ways. He gets drunk in public. He has problems on airplanes. He's accused of sexual assault. His wife the shit goes wrong with his wife, and it's public, and it's messy, and it's fucking annoying. He accuses somebody at the TSA of raping him, basically because the TSA had to pat you down because you were drunk coming off of a fucking plane. You fucking moron. Yeah. That dude is a perpetual fuck up. That dude was given every gift and every opportunity that nature could possibly provide for him. Look at the fucking guy. That guy is Adonis made flesh. That guy deserves absolutely fucking nothing out of life because look at what all he's been given in terms of opportunity, and look at how completely and utterly he's fucked everything he's ever done up. Matt Riddle seems like a really nice guy, and I hate to fucking talk about people who I perceive as nice people this way, but Jesus fucking Christ, man. Let me get one of the opportunities that guy's ever had. You would never see the fucking ball again. You give me that ball, you never see it again. That's my fucking ball forever. When I die, that ball's going to my kids. You're never fucking getting it again. That kid couldn't take a fucking ball and run with it no matter how many balls you give him. Somebody said, oh, hopefully somebody said in the Facebook group, oh, hopefully he's like Jeff Hardy and he gets a million opportunities. Wouldn't fucking matter if he did. He could be just like Jeff Hardy and get a million opportunities. He'll fuck them all up because Matt Riddle is a perpetual fuck up in this life.
Yep.
And people forget his UFC record was 10-3. That's fucking pretty impressive, man.
Yeah,
bro. I mean, at least two of those losses were very close. Very close. You could say he didn't lose those fights.
He was on a 7-fight win streak, I think, right before he got released from UFC. So, yeah, he was killing it, man. I knew Riddle very well before he got into pro wrestling, just purely from hearing about him in MMA.
Yeah, and I mean, let me put this. I think that to sum everything that Chris said up, is summed up best this way. When you talk about Matt Riddle, his career, and who he is as a person, Jesus Christ on a motorbike, is this fucking man Delulu? He's very Delulu. So, you know, have you not seen the TikTok guy? Like, he comments on stuff.
Dude, speaking of TikTok, for the first time, I done a deep dive last night. I swear to God, I never, ever have used TikTok. The amount of bullshit that's on there, I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I fell asleep because of that.
Yeah,
but it's juicy shit, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
It's this African guy, and he like comments on these things, and he says, like, when someone says something completely ridiculous, he goes, "Jesus Christ on a motorbike," and they call people Delulu, and he says, "Being Delulu is not Solulu." You know, it's very funny stuff.
That's an African dude. Well. He's funny as fuck.
Yeah, he really is, and but I mean,
what in the fucking fuck is this?
Yes, he'll say that.
What in the fucking?
Todd Brantley. Speaking of fuck ups, he did this. Who's the bigger fuck up, Riddle?
Oh, Teddy by a mile, man.
Teddy,
come on.
Teddy's hilarious. Teddy is hilarious in how much of a fuck up he is. Like, Teddy it's actually funny.
No, it's not even funny in some ways because you know what's sad about him? Well, not sad. He's how old? He's like 40, fucking mid-40s at this point. Yeah. And he still relies on his parents to get him out of trouble, man.
Well, I mean, this is a guy who was signed to WWE at 19 and couldn't even get to the 16, roster.
Wasn't it?
No, 19. You can't sign a contract under 18. But so when he turned 19.
I would say that he is the most physically gifted member of the Hart family ever. And he is the dumbest by
Yeah,
a mile.
Dumbest by a mile.
Like-
He's very reminiscent of Owen Hart in terms of in-ring style, but way more flippy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just dumb, straight up dumb, man.
Yeah.
That's what you call a good old dumb cunt in Australia, man, for real.
Yeah. So, hey Zane, Zane Richard says you're cutting the Miz promo right now.
What up, Zane?
He's
Love
good stuff.
Zane. Zane's awesome, man.
Look, I at the end of the day, it's not like we're not surprised by any of these cuts. A lot of them needed to happen because, like we said, the almost half that of that list that we read, we're like, who the fuck is this? Okay, bye. It doesn't do anything to us. And I think everybody else, is warranted and justified in this. The only ones I think you could say maybe would be Benjamin and Ziggler, but even still, those guys have been there for a very long time. They weren't being used. I think the common thing amongst everybody on that list, they weren't being used, other than Riddle being a fuck up. Riddle being a fuck up is the only outlier. Everybody else, they weren't being used. Aaliyah wasn't being used. Emma, Riddick Moss, all these kind of things. And as we said earlier,
yes.
I don't know why they didn't put Boogs and Moss together as a tag team.
Yeah,
that
and
would
call
have
them
been
what?
perfect.
Mad
High
Cat
voltage.
Boogsies.
Who gives
Yeah.
a shit?
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
Boogie Nights.
or they were trying to do the Elias and Boogs thing, and it didn't work. Or it never got traction.
Boogie Nights.
Yeah, the Boogie Nights.
I do like fucking what's it called, High Voltage. Remember the theme? Caution, danger.
Yeah.
High voltage.
But I mean, I think that's the common thing is nobody was getting used by this, and as we saw earlier, $50 to $100 million got to be trimmed on the WWE side. So of course this was going to be this cleared up probably what $12-20 million maybe. So it clears up a section of money for them because, like I said, the bottom half of this, a lot of them were just NXT or developmental people. So that maybe was just a couple mil right there.
Oh,
it
and
was,
Shanky, I'm grateful that he's gone.
Yeah, we talked about that. That was
Did you? All right.
Yeah.
Fuck Shanky.
Yeah, because you showed up over halfway through the thing. So, all right, last story that we'll talk about, because now that Jimmy's fucking here, that we can talk about it, that WWE Elimination Chamber is going to take place in Perth, Australia, at some stadium there with people.
It's a beautiful stadium, bro.
And it holds,
It's
what,
coming
60,000?
to Australia.
70K.
70?
Yep, it's brand new. It just
Optus
got
Stadium,
built.
that's what it's called. I
Right.
think.
Optus is a telecommunications giant in Australia. That's where you get. For example, my mobile phone plan is with Optus.
Gotcha.
For example, right?
So what kind of stadium? Is it a soccer stadium? Is it a...
No, it's an Aussie rules football stadium / cricket. So it's an oval.
Okay. All right.
Right. So, but it's huge. It's beautiful, man. Just look it up. Look it up briefly. You'll see it. It's fucking stunning. It's one of the best stadiums in the world right now, for sure. Like, definitely.
Yeah.
In terms of technology and shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So this keeps with the theme of being in a stadium for a major pay-per-view event. Because I mean, or major-ish, because we saw Cardiff last year.
It's
Clash
pretty
of
major.
Cardiff.
It's more major than Clash of Cardiff, in my opinion.
Well,
it's
I mean,
Elimination Chamber. You know what I mean?
Well, they made Clash of Cardiff specifically to go to Wales compared to this is a branded show,
Right, which I'm
that
happy
they've had.
about. Because the
So
last PLE was Super Showdown, like in my neck of the woods in Melbourne, in a stadium that fit over 100,000, mind you.
So here's my question, Jimmy. With this, it's in Perth, and I mean, as we as Chris and I kind of talked before, that it's like 32 hours from you driving wise, like
36 actually.
30. It's a long fucking way. It's more than a day
bro.
driving nonstop,
Yeah.
which means
It's
you're probably
me
going to
driving to Florida. That's
Right.
how long.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's probably going to take
exactly.
you 2 or 3 days to do, right?
3 days it takes, and that's really taking it easy, like very little. And when I say that, you do 1 or 2 stopovers and then keep going. See, me, I would have tried to attempt to do the whole 36 hours. But the problem is it's just one straight road,
Yeah.
and that will annoy me. You probably get tired. Plus,
I'd
you have to
ride
go
that
through the
fucking
desert,
train.
bro.
I'd ride that fucking train that you could take. That's like it takes 4 days and it's got stops and it's like you can sleep on the train and shit. There's like a
I might
luxury.
plane it. I might actually plane it, man. Right now the tickets are pretty cheap, but come February, I can
Right.
see them bumping the ticks right up. And it takes 4 hours to get to Perth, man. It's quicker to get to New Zealand for me because I'm on the totally out. Like that's on
Right.
the west coast. I'm on
Right.
the opposite side, like literally on the east coast. So it's literally one end to the other, like of the country. And I don't know why Perth. I guess the Perth government, the local government, they were bidding, including other states. Well, all over the world were bidding supposedly for this so-called pay-per-view, and for whatever reason, Perth got it. I mean, they were eager, man. And it's also, I believe it's going to be a 3-4 day event. So I'm pretty sure SmackDown's also going to be in Perth. And then, the stadium show. I don't know if Raw's going to be here, but I'm pretty certain SmackDown will be.
Okay. I mean, it's interesting because, like, I think we had talked about a month or two ago, the last time WDB being down there, and when we're talking about how, it's like it's very interesting. They're not making a move in that direction, especially with TV rights and everything along those lines. And then I guess they heard us because all of a sudden now, hey, we're doing Elimination Chamber in Perth, and then it's interesting with. They announced that, and then they did all these cuts and everything that's happened this week,
bro.
in the news and all that kind of fun stuff. I found it almost is interesting the fact that this can get buried. And I mean, let's be honest, Chris and I, if you weren't here, we probably would not even talked about it. Chris, can we agree?
I don't care.
It's not really a big deal to you guys. I mean, honestly, even though they're promoting it a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, but
let's put it this way: there's no possible way I'll be there in person.
Right.
Well, yeah. Dude, put it this way: there's no direct flights from the US to Perth. The only direct flights from LAX, for example, is to Melbourne or Sydney, right? And then from there, so I assume all the WWE peeps are going to land either in Melbourne or Sydney, and then catch another fucking plane ride to Perth. Because Perth is one of the most isolated cities in the world, just where it's situated. You know what I mean?
Not true, sir, because you can go into the middle of Australia, and then there are more isolated.
There's nothing there. That's why I don't want to drive now that I think about it, because there's a lot of stories about the Nullarbor. That's what it's called. It's just desert, bro. There's nothing there. There's been a lot of murders in the past there. A lot of weird shit happens around there. And if you fucking break down, you're fucked. Mm-hmm. Put it that way. There's no gas station around, nothing.
Yeah.
It's like just desert, bro.
I watched, there's these travelers, they're named Kara and Nate and their husband, and they've been in Australia for the last couple of weeks, and they're showing them like driving to this most remote
city or town?
Township in Australia. It's like something community way out there. It's an Aboriginal kind of community.
I was going to say that.
And then they went to Ayers Rock, and then
now that's Northern Australia.
Yeah, and then I think they're taking a 4-day train. I don't remember if that's the one that goes north to south or the one that goes from Perth to.
No, yeah, it'd be from where I am, from Melbourne to Perth, and then from Adelaide to where Ayers Rock is, basically.
Yeah.
So I have to cut through another state. So I'd have to cut through South Australia, cut through Adelaide, the city where Rhea Ripley's from, and then from there get into Perth, which is in part of Western Australia. They've got the biggest state in all of Australia.
Right.
Half the country is the state for just them.
Yeah.
It's huge, bro. It's a huge state. Nice city, though, man. Beautiful beaches. I mean, it's different. But the thing is, all PLEs, every time that we have had events, and WCW, they've always been on the East Coast, and the only pay-per-views that's been held in Australia has always been in Melbourne, where I'm from. So I kind of find it real weird that it's all the way to the other side, where Perth is not known to be a hotbed for pro wrestling. You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to ask. What's the likelihood that this is going to, one, draw a crowd outside of Australia, and two, that the Australian crowd is going to support this?
Oh, dude, we'll put it this way. When I went to the last PLE in 2018, right, there was people from all over the world here, man. Legitly. From especially around the Asia region, the Asia Pacific region, people from New Zealand, people from interstate, everyone came in, you know what I mean? They didn't sell out 100,000, but they got 72,000, right? Which is
right.
great.
But like you said, it's like, I mean, I've looked at this.
That sounds like a
72.
world record. Oh no,
Yeah.
it's
Oh
not.
yeah,
It's not, but I mean, but like you said, and because I've looked at this, because I looked at Australian travel.
Right.
If you're out of the country, you have to go pretty much to Sydney or Melbourne,
Yeah.
because I imagine it's very similar. Like if I want to go to Canada, I have to go to like BC, or I have to come to one of the major cities before I could go to a smaller one. Like I can't
Right.
fly direct to certain cities in Canada. I have to stop at a certain place
Right.
in Canada before I can go to other places. Same way, like when I went,
You'd have to stop somewhere in the States in order to get there. Like if you wanted to go
right,
to Winnipeg, for instance, they do have international flights to and from Winnipeg,
Right.
but
They would. Yeah.
probably like from what airport would you be leaving if you were flying from John?
Dallas Fort Worth, the DFW airport.
Dallas.
Yeah,
You might be able to get a direct flight to Winnipeg, but if not, you'd have to stop in Denver or
right,
Minneapolis or whatever on your way.
right.
But yeah, direct flight, not to Winnipeg. You could probably get a direct flight to Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal.
Right. Yeah. And like so when we went to Canada, we looked at maybe just flying in and doing a drive south from there. But if we wanted to go even to BC, like there was talk of like we'd have to go to Seattle and then hop over, to fly in. Like it was a real weird like setup. And then same way like with my parents when they did their cruise, like their Alaskan cruise, like there was a real weird thing of where they had to leave from almost Canada or something to do like it's real fucked up and real weird up there how things work. And so knowing that most likely, and I don't know if like from the west side, like if Europe or whatever can fly direct into Perth or not. I haven't looked at that just for American. If I'm an American,
it's impossible. No.
yeah. Okay. Well, then if I'm an American or if I'm traveling, why would I want to go? Like, yeah, I get people coming in because it's Sydney or Melbourne. I can fly in and I'm not having to get on another plane and fly across the country to get to another place.
Which is
you know what I'm
fair
saying?
fucking cruise even by plane, man.
Yeah. And
Like,
I mean, that's another expense. I'm already going to probably pay, if I'm flying economy, I'm paying probably $2,000 to $3,000 to fly economy to get to Australia for me. And then I'm going to have to get another flight to fly to Perth. Fuck that shit.
Which would probably be, I'm assuming, come February. Right now, it's about $150 to $200 to get to Perth, right? But I guarantee you, come February, it's going to go up at least $500 or $600 to fly there. So picture that, $3,000 to come down here, and then from there, from Melbourne or Sydney to go to Perth, there's another $500-600, man.
Yeah.
One way, I'm talking now, not return.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. And then good luck trying to get a hotel too, probably.
Yeah.
See, I just want to go there and get the fuck out. You know what I mean?
But I'd need to get a hotel. Yes, that's probably the case when I was approaching Canada. Because, I mean, hello, have you seen their snowbirds? Those are not high-performance airplanes, which makes them even more impressive.
No,
Look,
we had one high-performance airplane 3 decades ago, and instead of developing it and then selling it, we basically sold the patent to the United States for almost nothing because Canada hates itself for whatever reason.
Are you talking about Alaska?
No.
Oh, sorry.
We actually had like a really high performance fighter jet. That
really? Well, that you guys developed?
Yes, it would have it was basically ready to become like the standard bearer for fighter jets.
Really?
And instead of fully developing it, we basically sold it to the States for almost nothing because this country fucking hates itself.
How long ago was this?
1970s. Yeah,
really? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we just bought a shitload of freaking fighter jets off the US and the nuclear submarines too.
Oh,
so
and we just promised another $65 million to Ukraine because.
Dude, y'all aren't even in our ballpark of what we're supposed to be giving Ukraine. Like, what the fuck? And then, but hey, y'all get to deal with India and all that bullshit. Oh my god, like dude, that's looking real. Like, what the hell, man?
Do you have a lot of Indians in Texas?
Like,
I'm serious.
Daughter feather.
Yeah. You got to remember when you say Indian to American.
No, I know, not fucking. Not Native Americans, I know that.
Right.
He means dot.
I know.
I mean dot, right? Not red ones.
You know, actually,
I'm not gonna say that, but,
in Houston, like in the major cities, there are a lot of communities that have Indian. Like, so for example, when I was attending seminary and I was living in kind of in the middle of the Metroplex area, Hersh, Euless, Bedford area, there was a Sikh temple not far from where I had my apartment. And I spent 2 weeks there talking to the leaders and just learning about their religion and stuff like that. I mean, to be able to have enough Sikhs to be able to have a temple and
fully chic.
But yeah, no, there's large communities of like I would call it Little Delhi, where you go into parts and it's
Little Delhi.
No, but I mean, you have.
Oh my goodness, it's just me.
Yeah, you have like Indian restaurants with Indian food, kind of like you have Korean section, and you have
it's like that,
Japanese section.
It's like that here. It's like that in Canada. It's like that.
I mean, it's one of the most populous, populations in the world, and they go lots of places. So
they've taken over here, bro. Like something shocking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And see, I feel like the Indian thing for America is pretty new, in a way. Like in the last, say, 20 years tops, where they've really influxed.
No,
you know what I mean?
They've been here for a long time. But I think the thing for us is like I don't know. The story is that Chris, like in Canada, apparently a Canadian citizen who has Indian ties was assassinated by
the gangsters in fucking Canada, bro.
No, the
Indians.
Let me tell the story.
Right. Anyway,
Let me tell the fucking story. There was a Canadian citizen of Indian descent who was assassinated by India's government on Canadian soil.
That's right? So that was something that was alleged by our prime minister and the leader of the opposition party, and I mean that. And Retro Rocket Review will understand what I mean. The leader of the opposition party, because there's supposed to be two, but the other one's really just a fucking lackey, and he does whatever Trudeau tells him to. So the leader of the opposition party basically came out and said, "Listen, if this is true, this is an absolutely terrible thing, and we will 100% join the government in condemning with the harshest language what the Indian government has done. However, show us the fucking proof."
Right.
It really was the Indian government, and our prime minister said, "Well, we're going to decline to show you that proof." So, yeah, I'm sorry, we don't believe you. That's the truth. We don't fucking believe you. Nobody in this country fucking believes you anymore, Trudeau. Nobody believes you. Your wife left you. Nobody fucking believes you. Just fucking crawl into a hole and die, you useless piece of shit.
As he should. But I mean, there's been some like traction in the story of there's possible evidence, like you said, and then people got real pissed at America because we're not like standing up for you immediately, and we're like, hey, let's take a second here and let's see what the fuck's going on, which is a rational response that one should have in general, and when something like this happens.
Due process in general, due process. With every fucking thing, the backdrop should be due process.
Right.
Due process. Prove it, then you get to fucking punish someone for it. You don't get to punish someone for something that they've been accused of. That's another thing. The whole Russell Brand situation right now.
Oh,
listen,
my God.
He might very well be guilty of the things that he's being accused of, because he was a lecherous motherfucker for a long time, right? He's not a very nice person. Okay, he's not a very nice person. But you know what? He hasn't even been charged yet.
Right.
And his fucking government is trying to get him demonetized. That's fucked up, bro. We're supposed to have due process in the West.
Right, exactly. And I mean, and here's the thing is people want us to be reactionary. Look, we can be, but you got to show us the evidence. You got to show us what it is we need to do. Which, hey, by the way, Jimmy.
Yes.
So Zane says, let him finish the story.
Yeah, but
because Cody won't.
Ding dong.
And then apparently now, Ams, you're now over with Zane. So,
and Aaron says that's the Chris we want. He loves angry Chris and angry me for some reason too.
Look, I may have kept that story on the back burner just to be able to do that.
Todd Brantley, comment of the night. Absolutely redeemed. Whatever's been going on with him lately, anything that's been struggling with, comment king returned. Here's your crown, sir. You can have the crown and the seat forever. Trudeau is the Don Stevens of prime ministers. You fucking A right he is.
And Aaron, what is due process that you're talking about? Look, it feels like it anymore. I mean, the fact that now, like, I don't know if you've seen this story or not. I mean, it ties in with everything that journalism is no longer journalism; it's activism. The fact that whether you like him or not, Dave Portnoy is putting on this pizza fest to like promote small business and raise money for small business.
Another story,
and the Washington Post is putting a hit piece out on him, calling people and asking him, why are you supporting a guy who's misogynist and all this kind of stuff as being a part of this thing. It's no long, and then wouldn't speak to him. He called the reporter and like videoed it and showed that he was recording on his phone and had a video camera there saying, hey, I want to talk to you about this. Why are you asking these people these things? And would not have a conversation with him. And he's just like, look, I'm open. I'm honest. I'll tell you and we can have a conversation, but would not even do anything along those lines. Continuing to prove that now journalism is just propaganda.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean, it
always has been in many ways too, bro.
But here's dude. Not in the West. Not in
the West. Fair enough.
It used to be that you got both fucking sides of a story before you reported it. It used to be that you reported facts. Now everyone just reports opinions.
Exactly. And here's the problem. Here's the problem. Back during what's his name? Before Biden, Obama's
Trump. Obama.
No, Obama. Okay, yeah. During Obama's administration, he signed the Propaganda Act, which actually allows now for things like this. That they can basically essentially have, because we weren't allowed. You were able to tell just if you had one side of the story, you have to tell the other, et cetera, et cetera. He passed an act during his presidency which allows for propaganda in the United States. When we had no propaganda for all that period of time, actually rules against it, Obama passed that law. And again, this is where we get to see the turning of, okay, well now I'm going to make money if I get people to just do that. And I mean, I don't disagree with Elizabeth. She brings a great point. The advent of social media was the downfall of actual journalism as well.
Sure.
It's about being first, not being right. Whereas when I went to school, my degree's in broadcasting, right? If the thing that was drilled in my head is you do not go and run with a story unless you have two credible sources. Not two sources.
Not fucking spaghetti sources. Real sources, right?
Two credible sources. Like, I can't say my mom and my dad are my sources. It has to be like the police chief and the fire chief both agreed that not only was this a fire, but that there was arson involved.
Your sources about the Democratic Party can't be the Republican governor. Like you can't just say, well, Ford told me that this Chevrolet truck is not actually that. Of course they did. Of course they fucking did.
Right. Yeah, and that's where this act allows for all these kind of things to happen, and it's just it's sad to see the state of now that, like, whether you like a person or not, if they try to do something, like with this instance, I mean, granted, I'm not a huge Dave Portnoy guy. Like, I mean, cool, Barstool, whatever. I
barely know who he is.
I barely intended. The only thing is, I've found, like, just recently, I found his One Bite Pizza reviews before any of this, and I thought, okay, this is mildly entertaining because he says he takes 1 bite and reviews it, and he ends up taking like 4 or 6 bites, which is hilarious. And like, people see him, and but he's going around all these small pizzeria places in the Northeast and giving them a boom for business. And then I saw the argument with one guy he got into, and which was hilarious in and of itself. But, it's this idea that whether you like it or not, the guy's doing something for the community and doing something for a small business. Like, if he has a bro frat kind of platform where they do stuff with Barstool Sports, okay, what does that matter?
Right.
Let the man do the thing. Tell the story. It is not your job to tell me what to think. It is your job to tell me what's happening and let me determine what I need to think and how I need to view things. Stop giving me shit in your opinion. Give me the facts and let me determine how I feel about that shit. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
Unfortunately, it is what it
and
is. And
that's the way it was.
That's the way. Yeah. No. And I mean, seriously, you think about it. You had guys like Peter Jennings, Walter Cronkite, Ted Koppel, all these news guys. And what were they known for? Telling the news. That was it.
Yep.
They'd rather. It was not opinion. It was not whatever. It was, this is what happened in the world today.
there's George Knapp right now, at least. But that's another story.
I don't know.
All right,
look, there's still some good journalists out there. But
let's get SmackDown over with.
Smack it down.
Honestly, there was one thing I was interested on the show tonight, and that was it. So let's go over this. Last night, September 22nd of 2023, SmackDown was at the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona, Maricopa County, if you weren't aware. On commentary was Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Kevin Patrick, who should have been released, but he wasn't. God damn it. Both of those guys could have been released. And then we have the start of the show, of course, because he's going to be around for a bit. John Cena and his music hits, and and here he comes, as it should be.
Here comes the okayest of all time.
Yeah.
The okayest,
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Consistent, yes. Middle of the road, yes. Not controversial. Does just enough in the ring. Solid, whatever. But has charisma. Okay, cool. Does it make him the greatest of all time? No. I mean, I think they were better, but I don't even think he's in the discussion.
John Cena's had a stellar career. I will say that. He belongs in the same conversation as Hulk Hogan. He's a great marketing tool. Mm-hmm. A great wrestler? No.
Yeah.
No, but would you put him in the top, say, 6 of all time, technically, in terms of draw and shit, Chris?
Again, it depends on what. This is one of those things that I find like often gets misunderstood with wrestling fans, right? Because wrestling fans say, "Oh, you don't even think Hulk Hogan is the greatest wrestler of all time?" No, I don't. I don't think he's anywhere near the greatest wrestlers of all time.
But we're not talking about wrestler per se,
right? So that's the thing. I need to understand exactly what you mean in terms of in terms of like what I'm ranking him on. In terms of ability to sell tickets, in terms of marketability, he's right up there with the greatest, with the absolute best. He's right up there with Hogan and Stone Cold and
The Rock
Goldberg and great in terms of that. Is he one of the greatest wrestlers of all time? No. Do I even rank him on the top 10? No.
Because
not as a wrestler, right?
Yeah, because I think to me, sometimes what gets lost in the weeds is we forget about the wrestling aspect of wrestling. Like, what you can do in the ring is important as much as the money you can draw.
Right.
We've gotten to the point where
drawing is the most important, though, in terms of wrestling. You know what I mean? The way people perceive
right,
it.
but look, let's take Dominic for example. Is he a draw? No. Is he good in the ring? Yeah. Does he suck in the ring? Yes, but he's got a belt. People boo him. He gets a reaction. Okay. Does that mean something? Yes, but you can only go with that for so long. At some point, he's got to do something in the ring. You can't keep hiding him, or people are going to boo him because it's like, why the fuck are you here? He's going to have X-Pac go away heat, not heat because he's doing something, he's berating his dad and hooking up with Rhea Ripley, which he's not.
Well,
we all know that.
Unfortunately, John, you can say that about a lot of wrestlers, really, when you think about it, in the last fucking 25 years. When you really think about it, right?
Todd Brandley's recent comment is great, too.
I can't bring it up. You can, John. What do you say?
John Cena is okay, but he's no El Dandy.
Right.
El Dandy is a jam-up guy. Okay, he's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
Absolutely. El Dandy, back in the day in WCW, I mean, that's how I knew him, even though he's from probably Triple A. What was it?
Make him say Triple A. Oh,
yeah. Right.
Na.
Yeah,
To the
and I mean,
ah.
and I think Elizabeth's right. Seen as a good spokesperson,
Absolutely.
especially
The
because of all the
fakest-
Make-A-Wish.
He's
Yeah.
the most cookie cutter fake motherfucker when it comes to that, though. You know what I mean? But hey,
He's
who
the
am I to
prototype
judge?
for Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
Absolutely the prototype to Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes only wishes to be where John Cena is at. And the thing is, at least he looks genuine, kinda, when Cena's talking, right? Because he's a pure company guy, whereas Cody just comes across as totally fake, even though I know subconsciously
I don't know,
Cena's pretty
man.
fake.
I don't know. I never watched an episode of Total Divas, but I've seen clips.
Great
and John
show,
Cena
man.
seems like an absolute fucking snake in the grass person.
Yeah.
Prick,
I
bro.
don't like
Oh.
Prick. Total prick. I
Yeah.
love it, though, for that reason, man. Total prick.
Well, I mean, I find it interesting that of all people, Cena would do that show because it exposed him as a complete piece of shit on the way he treated people. Like, hey, you have to come to dinner in suits and ties, and we're gonna.
Oh, and the rules in his house, bro, was
Oh my
fucking
God.
ridiculous.
like didn't want to get married, no kids, like all the
After dinner, we will adjourn to the smoking room.
the gentlemen will go to the smoking
like-
room.
What the fuck is
Yeah.
wrong with you, you fucking
lost it.
weirdos?
I think something to do with the way the cutlery was set up, man. Shit wasn't set up properly, and he fucking lost his shit.
No
my
thanks,
God.
Retro.
No, Retro.
No, really, Chris, it's not a bad show, though, man. For real,
I'm
actually
not,
isn't.
bro. I don't have time.
Mm-mm.
I barely have time to do the fucking podcasting that we do. I'm still trying to
I feel
fucking
you.
find time for when I can write my books and shit. It's hard right now. I
Oh.
don't have time for fucking Total Divas.
Tell me, I can't. Look, I had a hard enough time sitting down to watch last night.
Me
With the
too,
amount of
man.
shit I had to do. And I was telling Chris earlier with the new TV deal. Hey, with it being on USA now, cool. That means my Friday nights are now free because I don't have cable. So I instead of turning on my TV and watching network, I'm just gonna do a 30-minute recap on Saturday mornings.
No, that's all right. I can save your ass anyway, dude. It's all good.
No, I'm just saying I still do the show. I'm just gonna watch a 30-minute recap. I'm not gonna.
But
have
if you want to watch it, you still can.
I don't want to.
He doesn't want to. Yeah.
Look,
No,
now
'cause
that I've
that's what
found
we
the
do,
30-minute recap on
Right,
YouTube, it makes it a hell of a lot better to do that.
No,
than-
because really, what we've been doing, like, for example, I'll, stream the show from my cable provider onto StreamYard, and we'll be watching it that way if anyone can't watch it for whatever reason. That's what I've been doing for the boys, you know what I mean? And it works well, man. It's actually quite a good idea to do.
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Allegedly, because it's pretty illegal to do it that way. But
Right,
I'm not doing
yeah,
it publicly, though.
You're not
It's
doing it at all, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry. No. Don't worry. Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But anyway, real quick, what if they add a third hour to SmackDown?
Oh don't you.
No. Why? Why would you say that shit?
Because
dude?
it's going to USA.
Why would you? Why don't John? No. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't you put that evil on me, John Enright.
Oh,
I
I'll curse
appreciate
you
the
for
Ring
life
Bobby
if that
reference.
happens. If we have to put up with 6 hours of fucking Raw and Smackdown, dude.
Well, no, the talk is that they don't know what would happen with and we talked about this earlier. We don't know what's going to happen to Raw.
Oh yeah, I was hearing that too.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that now? Because isn't the contract coming up for Raw very soon as well?
So NXT and NXT and Raw are up in September of next year.
Interesting. I
from
mean,
what I
surely
saw.
they stay on NBC Universal. I mean, I can't see why they would, spend all this money to get SmackDown only for them to not get Raw. I can see NXT going back to the network though.
Yeah, well, I mean, who knows? Maybe they put it on Peacock. I don't know. But anyway, so we had John Cena's music come out, and it's another sold out SmackDown. Tony Khan sold out, or WWE
No, it was sold out, bro. It was
or
sold out, legit. It
I
was.
mean-
I didn't see empty seats at all, dude.
Well, I mean, yeah, they don't show you empty seats. We don't
No,
know. if
but
the-
they gave you the
AEW
panoramic view,
AEW
right?
Show you
Yeah.
it's off.
No, when WWE have sellouts, they're not shy to show you every fucking angle of that crowd, and they were showing every angle, man.
Yeah, well, sometimes they don't show the Tarp Emporium at work. When the Top Emporium.
Oh no, that's long gone, dude. That's long gone.
Yeah.
That was the time. Yeah, it's long gone. Right now, they're killing it, dude, in terms of attendance and record numbers, dude. They really are. For the last 3 years, they definitely have.
So, anyway, so he
Since
yeah,
COVID's finished, actually.
Yeah, he comes out. Well, yeah, no, because we had somebody who went to the first pay-per-view here in Fort Worth. They went to that pay-per-view show, which, by the way, tickets for that in the upper, so it's a 12,000 seat arena here in Fort Worth at the Dickies Arena, where they had I forget what it was.
Yeah,
the first
giggity.
Diggity.
No doubt.
Diggity at Dickies. The upper level for that PLE, $250 for upper level seats. Like, I'm talking
What?
upper level back wall.
Come on, bro.
That seats 12,000. Yes.
What would they charge like that? Come on, man.
It was the first first live event.
Is that
back,
what
Jimmy.
But is that what they really charge for that shit?
That's what they did. Yeah.
What cocksuckers, dude? Straight up.
Yeah. The next night on Raw, you want to know how much the upper level at the American Airlines Center over in Dallas
I can
was?
imagine. What?
$20.
I would have been pissed, dude.
It was so SmackDown was in Houston on Friday, which is the first in-person,
Right.
SmackDown. Sunday was the premium live event. Monday was Raw. And so, but of course, you're at a pay-per-view and you're at the first pay-per-view post-COVID and first real, again,
But
this
come on,
is the thing
man.
that, look, you have to give WWE respect for, right? Post 9/11, first people to do anything. We're going to fucking do it. Hey, this happened. We're going to be the first people to do it. COVID, we're going to be the first people to do it.
UFC, actually. But yeah, I mean.
You know what I
UFC
mean?
were doing a lot of shows overseas during that time.
Right. No, but I mean,
With crowds.
Yeah, but they didn't stop. Yeah, they didn't stop.
They didn't stop,
I'm just talking about in the United States. Whenever something happens, WWE, you have to at least give them credit for that, to being, hey, we're going to go ahead and we're going to set the standard for going back and doing this.
Well, they were the only ones to be doing shit in the US, right? I mean, live.
Well, no, to go live, they were the first ones.
Right.
They set the standard for all that. Anyway, Cena talks about his career, being a referee, a host, a correspondent, and he's excited, but he's also angry. He's angry at the Bloodline. And then AJ Styles gets in the ring. And he's like, he found a phenomenal partner in AJ Styles, and they get in the ring, they face each other, and there's crowns chanting AJ Styles. And then they said, hey, if he wants some, AJ Styles, if the Bloodline wants some, they can come get some. And he spikes the mic, and out they come, and then, no, we're not.
I thought of Rick Steiner then.
Yeah.
And if you don't like me, bite me.
Well, I mean, that's what John Cena says is, if you want some, come get some.
You want some? Come get some. I know that was always his catchphrase too.
Yeah.
But you know what annoys me about this segment?
What?
How fucking bad Cena sells shit. Really, it's excruciating, dude. It's like
he doesn't need to sell anything anymore, Jimmy.
No. I know, but he's so fake. When Jimmy Uso comes out and Solo, and you know how they back away, right? And he's just like, "Come on, where he's going?" Looking at the ref, "Come on, you know." But it just comes across as so not genuine. It's
because
annoying.
It's not genuine, Jimmy. It's fake.
Know.
It's wrestling, and he's a Hollywood wrestler now. He's
but,
not.
But in terms, I get that, but in terms of selling, the guy is the fucking drizzling shit.
But I thought he was in the top 6, Jimmy.
Right.
He's top 6.
We're talking about selling now. I asked you that question. I never said he's in my top 6, just quietly. I said, would you have him in the top 6? But if
I
you want to
wouldn't
talk
even have him in the
criteria,
top 10, but I wouldn't have Hulk Hogan in my top 10 either. That's the
for
thing.
me, Hogan's a fucking sure thing, regardless of how much of a piece of shit he is.
I don't
Only
like
because
Hulk Hogan.
Hogan's what got me into wrestling, man.
I don't like Hulk Hogan, and in his entire career, if you look at the best matches Hulk Hogan ever had, it wasn't even great matches; it was moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what makes wrestling, right? It's all about the moments,
my girlfriend
man.
has just come in to remind me that she met Hulk Hogan once. She's from Minneapolis.
Oh yeah, you said that before too.
Wow.
Wait, is she
Literally every
Canadian
time
though,
I say.
technically?
No, she's an American citizen. Every single time I say anything about something cool I've done, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, our podcast is in the top 60 in the sports, podcasts or whatever." And she's
We're
like,
still
"Yeah."
ranked, by the way.
She's like, "Yeah, that's cool, but have you met Hulk Hogan?" And it's like, you can't fucking bring that up every time, and then she does.
Thank
so.
you. So Thunder Lips impressed your girlfriend, according to
Not
Retro.
hips, Retro.
Yes,
Lips.
with Thunder Lips. Thunder Lips. All right, cool. Did she get some Thunder Lips?
Ooh.
Is that
And
why
the
she brings up
hips.
following you?
Every single night I'm here. Yeah.
Work it,
Okay.
Chris. Work it.
So out, they come out and Jimmy and Solo. Hey, then nope, never mind. We're not doing it. We're not going to give the people what they want. And then we go to commercial break and come back to Cena and AJ Styles are backstage with Adam Pearce and says he's going to make a tag team match tonight. But Pearce says it's complicated with the bloodline. And he has to locate Paul Heyman and see if he can get it done. So then this leads the rest of the night of Adam Pearce walking around going, "Where's Paul Heyman? I've got to find Paul Heyman."
Where is Paul Heyman?
Yeah, I've got it. Like, so we give Adam Pearce a mission of let's go find Paul Heyman.
I can't make a match without Paul Heyman.
Right.
But I'm the boss technically, but I guess
I'm the
not.
boss, but I need Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
I need Paul Heyman.
I'm the cuck. I'm the Smackdown cuck. Well, yeah, I said it. It's
shit.
fine. It's fine.
Where is Paul Heyman?
So after that, then we go back to Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar with Zelina Vega facing the Street Profits with Bobby Lashley. First of all, I just want to say this. If I have a partner, so let's say Chris and I are coming out of a tag team match player, I think I'd rather have Bobby Lashley in my corner than I would Zelina Vega. I don't know.
Oh, you think?
I think
I mean,
you know that's my personal choice. But again, okay, I will say this match surprised me because
when we're leaving, like when it's time to leave the arena,
right?
You can actually at that point you can keep Bobby and I'll take Zelina at that point when we're leaving. If we're gonna go have an actual fight with somebody, yeah, definitely bring Bobby. Yeah. But like when we're leaving, I'll take
Mr. Steal your girl over here. Hey, Jimmy, I don't know if you noticed it, but like I was talking about this, we were talking about this earlier. Chris and I were so in sync that it looks like our window was one big window and they were just like holding hands.
Oh shit, it is too. That's fucking weird,
we're
man.
tickling each other right now.
Oh wow. That is perfectly lined up actually when you think about it, dude.
It really
now
is.
That you pointed it out. Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So we have Rey Mysterio and Escobar versus the Street Profits. I honestly, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I expected the Street Profits to win this one. I thought this was going to be a competitive match, but it's going to be another win for Dawkins and Ford. But, you know, this was an interesting match. Like, I watched it.
It went too long, man.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I was entertained to a point till I wasn't. And like I felt like it should have ended sooner, which I felt like we said that about a match last week, you know, as well. I think you know we said that about a match last week that it ended. It was a singles match and it should have ended sooner. But long story short is we get everything going on. There's a bunch of schmozzes, you know, and then you know it basically you know we get some false finishes. And then we have the end where Dawkins throws Ray to the outside, but Ray lands on Ford, knocking him down. And then Dawkins distracts the referee as Lashley slams Ray into the ring apron. Lashley tells Dawkins to pin him. Dawkins hesitates as he lifts Ray up, but Ray rolls him up and gets the pin. So Ray and Santos Escobar get the win against the Street Profits. Initially, I was very shocked by this. This made no sense to me. But then I remembered, oh, wait, Ray's the United States champion, which I don't think I saw the belt at all.
No, right? Well, he did wear it. He did wear it.
He did? Okay,
yeah,
all right. It was just, I guess I missed that. But still,
well, those pinks were fucking pretty bright, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so I don't blame you.
They burnt my retinas. So it's that idea of, okay, well, we got to keep our champ strong. But I'm like, you're in a fucking tag team match and there's somebody who could be a pin eater. Like, what the hell? Like, really? Come on. Yeah.
Well, I guess I wasn't totally surprised, though, because I did say, but I got it wrong. I said if Ray and Santos win, it'll be via, like, disqualification or because of Bobby or something. But instead, they got pretty much a clean win. And but I guess this sets up now for the Profits to change their gimmick now, finally, and come out with a whole new entrance fucking song. Because when they came out with their normal shtick, and the cups falling down. I'm thinking, it's so stupid. It's so dumb. I think now is officially the time where they actually change, hopefully.
Yeah. So, that's what me and Chris would be. We would be stealing the show and your girlfriend. If you brought somebody like Zelina Vega out, because we're gonna fucking steal her. And I like this makes sense, especially because too we had the aspect of the idea that Dawkins hesitated.
Right.
Bobby, gives him, and he takes that moment. He doesn't do it. Which then here's my other problem. So Street Profits look at Bobby Lashley, who's on his way out and angry, but then we don't cut to where it takes a while to get to what we needed to, which I get in a way because you have to get to the back and everything along those lines. But we have a clip of The Rock's return with
Pat McAfee.
Austin Theory. That's more of what.
Oh well, yeah.
And then Austin Theory jumps the barricade and faces them, and he yells at them. And Theory tells Cole and all the officials, tell him to leave, and So wait, we're getting heat from the bad guy onto the announcer, who was commenting about last week's thing when The Rock came out. So great, goes to a segment that has absolutely no payoff. Cool, Elizabeth's comment, I think I feel like at this point, Austin Theory all raged up. That's what it felt like, because it's like, in a way, it's you got embarrassed, so you're just so livid and out of control. But you've had a week, right? You've had a week to get over it. Like it feels weird at this point to come back out and be like, I can't believe The Rock fucking embarrassed me last week. Like, get over it. I get it. He's 26. He's immature, but I don't know. It felt dumb.
Right. He's a douchebag. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Then after that, we had a commercial break, and then we had a video package as we come back showing Alba Fire and Isla Dawn insinuating that they put a curse on the women's tag team championships. That's why people keep getting hurt and their runs keep ending early and everything along these lines. And I'm watching this the whole time going, oh my God. I don't know if Jeff Lippman is alive at this point, because anybody checked
He's
on
still
him.
around.
Because you had Bobby Lashley in the match before, and now you had the witches in there in this video package. And then between him and La Sicaria, that dude probably doesn't have any semen for like the next 6 months. So is he dead? Are we sure he's okay? Because he just probably did that whole South Park bit where the guy has exploded everywhere.
That's images, John.
Yeah, look,
images.
I'm doing what I can. I just like this. It was.
Why do you have to describe it like that, shit, man?
Because I'm the Howard Stern.
Damn it, pal.
I'm Howard Stern. Damn it. No, that just
you're Howard Stern. So does that mean you're going to be an absolute coward in 20 years?
Oh, sure, probably.
Hey,
not.
Watch out the way you're eating that banana, Chris.
Anyway,
no, we didn't.
So we had that video package show inferring that they're coming back for the tag team championships. Cool. Then we have Austin Theory and Adam Pearce are backstage yelling at each other. Rich Holland and Butch come in and, hey, we're gonna fight you. And Grayson Waller comes in and says, yeah, hey, don't worry about it. You're blowing up huge, and blah 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 blah. And so Adam Pearce says, okay, fine. I guess what? Y'all are annoying the hell out of me. You're gonna fight them. I gotta go find Paul Heyman. So cool.
Again,
because he hasn't found Paul Heyman yet. So let's go find Paul Heyman. But yeah, I can make a match with you guys. So y'all are gonna fight because I don't want to deal with this bullshit. I gotta go find Paul Heyman. So cool. I get it. Makes sense. Then after that, we cut to the Street Profits finally, and Lashley is yelling at them, and that they had them win, and they looking specifically at Dawson. Hey, Dawkins, you had the killer shot. You didn't take it. If you're going to hesitate, I want the suits, the watches, everything. I can find somebody else, which, I like this. It's made this made a lot of sense knowing who Bobby Lashley is as a
Bubbly Lashley.
bubbly, yes,
Bubbly Lashley.
yes.
But
Okay,
can we be serious for a minute? Shout out to Lance Storm.
okay, Lance Storm.
I don't like, you know what? I'm starting to get sick of this whole thing because A, this storyline's moving very slow. B, when was the last time Lashley has had a proper match?
Well, I think that's the point. Is he's kind of like Bobby is not intended to be like a wrestler. He's intended to be more of a manager slash muscle
Is that
on
what's
the outside.
going on? They haven't
Yeah.
made that totally clear. So he's not going to wrestle, really?
Well, I mean, I
Anymore?
would say if you see him, he's an attraction. He's not a
That's
every
fine.
week wrestler. But like from the beginning, it feels like to me this has been, hey, I'm taking you under my wing. I'm going to show you the ropes. You're going to be doing the work, and I'm going to be there to benefit from it. Like I've done this. I don't need to do it anymore. I can just show up for the important things when I need to. He's being a different kind of Brock Lesnar, right?
Well, yeah, but not.
Can I just
but-
say this whole thing is a failure at this point? Like,
thank you, Chris. I
neither
totally agree
Dawkins-
with him.
neither Dawkins nor Ford seem capable of being heels. And that's a shoot, brother. Right now, neither one of them seem to be capable of it. And I mean capable of it because they're clearly supposed to be bad guys, but Ford's facials when he's in the ring are still, oh, look, I'm having fun. Look at all the fun I'm having.
Right.
It's fun in here, guys. Look at all the fun. Stop having fun if you want to be a fucking heel.
I don't think they
Right.
are though. I don't think that. I think they're that in between because when Bobby comes out, he's smiling, he's shaking hands in the crowd.
They're playing fake baby faces right now in some ways.
And that's what I'm saying.
But it's not coming across well.
But it's
Right.
not coming exactly
Right. And I mean, but that's from Bobby all the way down. That's what I'm saying. Like, when Bobby comes out, people are cheering, hey, and he's pointing to the crowd. He's slapping hands. I don't think it's like they're tweeners, but they're not there yet. They're more baby faces than heels, except for like when they wrestle.
On the low key, they're on the low, baby face, but really deep down.
I get that they
Right.
want to do something similar to what they did with the New Day when they started, where they were like,
was legit
the
heat, though,
power
at the
of
time.
positivity, but
Right.
also we're gonna cheat and do stuff.
Right.
Haha, isn't that fun? Look at how positive we
But
are.
they did
It's
that
great.
because of the fans turning on New Day straight off the bat, hence why they had to go heel at the time. Whereas
Right.
with this, people are still cheering him, but they're coming across as fake baby faces.
Right. It's a way worse reaction. It's a way worse reaction to get your heels not heat. Like,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
so
Who's the
to
heater
me-
man?
So to me, you pull the plug on this. You can still do something. You can still do something interesting. You can have Dawkins. You didn't go for the pin last week, so I'm going to bring in somebody who I know. I'm going to bring in somebody to team with Ford who I know really will go for the kill. In comes Cedric Alexander. They already have the previous relationship or whatever. Cedric and Ford have a couple tag matches. They have a little bit of success or whatever. Eventually Ford says, no, I'm going to stick with my friend. You have the Street Profits versus Cedric and Bobby at a pay-per-view. And that's the end of this. Because it's not, this is not working at all the way they're doing it. It's
I'm
not
100%
working.
with Chris on this. That's exactly the feeling I had watching it this time. I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck, man? Do something. Otherwise, this is just going downhill fast. And that's why I'm hoping now, after what happened with this match and what happened in the back, surely now is the time where they legitly change. You'd think, anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to at this point. After what Lashley said, if they don't fucking change it up. I mean,
Well,
you might
I think that was the point. We all agreed that at some point there needed to be a catalyst to bring about the change for the Street Profits. Like, there was nothing to the point to really make them have to change, because other than Bobby Lashley coming in, and Bobby was fine with what they were doing as long as they would perform in the ring. And this is the first time where there was no performance. There was Bobby cheating, going, hey, you take care of this. Go for the kill shot now. You didn't do it. And Bobby's like, fuck this. I'm not putting up with this shit. And it's now Dawkins and Ford's opportunity to make that change and go forward. Could they go heel? I mean, maybe. I agree that I think they've been babyface for so long. It's going to be a hard time, but they can do it. But I think this is the first moment where we see this change that needs to be made. And that's the bigger thing is this was the catalyst for it. And I'm okay with that because here's the thing. It's like you gotta I think when we first started with this, if they were gonna go heel, you can't just turn them heel. You gotta slowly move them that direction. And I think this is the point where we're starting to see that turn to make them go more towards heel because they like everything that Bobby's brought with him. And I'm sure at the end of the day, you want to keep that. It's that idea of like Jimmy, if you work for somebody, let's say you work for Chris, and Chris is cool with everything, and then all of a sudden,
work for me. He does work for me.
And Chris is giving you $1 million a year, and
what?
Chris is,
what the fuck?
Yeah,
he's paying me the big dollars.
I'm just and
I know. We're fucking.
You get the suits, the ties, and all that,
right?
And Chris asked you to do something questionably, like it's on the line, it's a little gray, but you hesitate, and you like he's gonna fucking chew you out, and then you're gonna go, well, I like the lifestyle that I'm living. It's not that big a deal.
You can't bite the hand that feeds you, right?
Right. It's that idea.
And that's exactly what they were doing up until this point.
I don't think they were. That was the whole point. Bobby never really expressed anything.
Right, but that's also the problem. It's been very poorly booked. The storyline has been lazy as fuck. They've given us no context at all, really, man. And that's unlike WWE to do that, man. They need to start showing us the real story behind why these three are together.
And I mean,
they're not doing a good job of telling the story, and yet still this would probably be the #1 story in AEW because it's
100%
better told than everything that's going on over there.
that's the bad thing, right?
True.
It's more coherent than anything AEW's doing, and it's still a bad storyline right now by WWE standards.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. Okay, so after this, we go to another commercial break, and then we have the moment that I was waiting for, and this is in the middle of the show of the women's championship match of Io Sky versus Asuka for the title. Granted, I knew that the title wasn't changing hands. Like no chance that this was happening on a random Smackdown.
I mean, it has happened before, though, on Smackdown. It does happen rarely, extremely rare, but yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. It wasn't happening. We figured as much. But still, I liked it. I mean, I liked the idea of this match and going into it.
Great on paper, man. It looked fucking fantastic. I was pumped for this match.
And then fucking Charlotte has to come out, And we already had Damage Control out there, which we knew that going in. It's Io Sky, of course. We have to do that. God, I feel like the dark side is running through me today. I'm just gonna have to embrace my fucking hate right now and just let it flow. And of course, I mean the fact that like everything that was said in the ring was exactly how I felt when Charlotte's music comes out, and both Io and Asuka are looking. Like at first, I was like, "Wait, are they on the same team now?" Because Charlotte's coming out.
They look confused.
They both legitimately were both like, "What the fuck?" And they were on the same page. And I'm going, if this doesn't expressly explain how I feel right now, I don't know what else does.
It was perfect.
Because it's like all of a sudden they're both at the same side of the ring, looking at each other like, "What the fuck is happening right now?" The fuck. Look, I get it. Charlotte's been out here, kind of like, "Hey, look at me! I'm here with her," and all that kind of stuff.
Is it just me? I'm starting to not stand Charlotte now, man, because of her hunger for the spotlight, bro. She's piggybacking off everyone else's success. Yeah, exactly.
What, Jimmy?
No, just piggybacking off everyone else's sort of
the idea of starting. Like what?
You're starting to get annoyed with
not
her.
technically starting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Since she's been taking the light, I mean, Cena's doing the exact same thing. Whoever's hot, I'm gonna fucking hang on to that person and feud with them. You know what I mean?
The Chris Jericho of the WWE.
And Jericho's another good example, perfect example.
Right.
And I feel like those guys and girls need to settle the fuck up, man, because they're just doing damage to the business than doing, a positive thing. I understand they need the spotlight and whatnot, but come on, man. Let these women have a match and fuck Charlotte.
All
You
right,
know
and
what I
by
mean?
the way, I'm going to give these two a little bit of flowers on this. I thought the match
Yeah.
was pretty good. The
I'd
ending was
agree.
really
Really?
good. Yeah, I thought the
The
match
match
I
was
thought their
good.
chemistry wasn't as good for me. I kid you not, man. I felt like their chemistry wasn't there as much as it should have been. It picked up though in the second half. At the start, I thought it was very there's a few botches. For
I thought that
example,
there was a few minutes where it looked like there were definitely a few spots where the
there was,
footwork
man.
seemed a little bad.
On EO's side though, specifically.
Yeah, well, specifically there was a drop down there where it looked like she was going to shoot her off, but she just
Right.
stayed in the headlock and dropped, and EO
Oh,
kind of
and
like
then she ran
dropped
the
to
ropes.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you remember right after that spot, EO goes to run the ropes, stops mid sort of run,
Yep.
looks at what's it called? Oh my god, what's Asuka? Looks at Asuka, pauses, and then goes back into the ropes so slowly, and then stood there like a quail, man.
Yeah.
And then Asuka got in an armbar.
There was definitely some moments where they weren't super crisp in there, but I thought that they did a pretty good job making the not crisp moments seem like it was two people fighting. And sometimes you're not going to be crisp if you're fighting with somebody, right?
Right.
You might trip. You might, have a second thought about what you're doing, tactically or whatever. So I thought they did a pretty good job there. I also think that those two women worked really, really hard. Both of them worked hard for each other. I thought that Asuka was really trying to get EO over, and I thought that EO was really trying to do a good job of trying to get Asuka over too. So I thought it was a really good match. And
I just think her Mac game, EO's Mac game, is just nowhere near on the level of Asuka's, man.
But that's the whole point.
Right, absolutely,
Asuka
yeah.
I mean,
nobody is ready for Asuka.
I mean, and EO is
Nobody.
the genius of the skies. Like she's
Exactly. Spot on.
So you've got a mat wrestler versus someone who jumps off shit, right?
Clearly,
so like,
right. But it really showed though in terms of I sort of been
that's the
confused
point.
a few times.
Sometimes,
right.
Jimmy, you're going to have a striker versus a grappler, and you're going to have to, and that fighter's got to figure out how am I going to get the win over this other person who's better at me in this other area.
Right, but it didn't come across that way to me, though. That's the only thing.
But that's because you got to think about these kind of things. Like going into this match, I knew Io Sky, the genius of the sky in her name, who jumps off shit, has to figure out how to overcome Asuka, the Empress of Tomorrow, who is a fucking genius mat wrestler who can put you into a hold at any time when she wants. You've got to come up with a plan and a strategy to deal with that. And that's what MMA does. When you have a grappler, you have to figure out a way to get past the strikers' strikes.
If you can't grapple in MMA, you're fucked, really.
Right, but you have guys who are better strikers than they are grapplers.
Of course, absolutely.
When you get to how do you plan for that though? Because I mean, if you're a grappler going in with a striker can hit you with something and knock you the fuck out.
I understand that, but that's not what I'm talking about though. That's not the context I'm talking about. Of course, they're two different styles. One's the genius of the sky, like you said. The other one's more a brawler grappler style. But like I said, EO just seemed confused at certain spots. And another thing that annoyed me, Asuka was doing a lot of the same moves at one stage. A lot.
Well, I mean, sometimes, Jimmy, guess what? You lose track and you have to go back to the basics.
I respect your opinion on this, Jimmy.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I'm not saying you're a dumbass or anything. I'm just. I thought that.
I'm joking.
Objectively, you are, but not necessarily about this. No, just kidding. Listen, not everybody's going to like the same stuff, right? But I thought that this was a pretty good match. Like this was for me, this was the match of the night. This was the best match on the night.
Yeah, still was the best match.
Because let's be honest. You can't discount the 15 years of them knowing each other and being in the ring with each other.
That's why I was surprised. I was expecting more because of that reason, man.
But I mean, see, that's where Jimmy. I think this is the thing you have to remember. Like Chris said, they were able to make it look in such a way that it wasn't as evident as it was like Moxley and Phoenix. Right?
Of course not. Not like that.
Because they know each other so well, they were able to make workarounds and do the things that they needed to do to continue the story and tell it. I agree with Chris. The shenanigans around the match beforehand was ridiculous. The match
and after the fact too.
Yeah, and after the fact, the match itself, I think, lived up to the expectation I had going in, and the reason why I wanted to watch the show for this match alone, which. look, if I'm 100% honest, last night, this is the only match I watched from beginning to end. Every other match, I was like, whatever. I was on my phone or doing, something else. This is the only match I was locked in for, and I was not disappointed in at all.
Yeah, look, don't get it twisted. I wasn't disappointed. I just felt like the chemistry was a bit off in the first half of the match. Second half, they picked it up, though, I felt.
Yeah. And I mean, look, we know that basically at the end, after the match, we have Damage Control celebrating the ring, and Io clutches her left arm, and then we have all the stuff after that. And then but I think this was solid. This is probably, look, I'm gonna say it. This was the match of the night for me. I felt like hands down match of the night. If you want to try to convince me otherwise of another match, you're gonna have to fucking put in work to show me that, because I feel like this was match of the night.
No, it was definitely. I mean, there was nothing. There was only like 3 matches, right? When you think about it.
You had because it was Street Profits and Bobby,
right?
That was listen. Hey, the Street Profits match was not a bad match.
No, it wasn't bad. No,
it went on too long. I still don't understand the fucking point of the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley right now.
I'm with Chris on that too, right?
But the match was fine. Like, the match was actually decent. Getting to see Ford really show out against people who are on his level athletically, that's always going to turn into a really fun match.
Yeah.
And having Dawkins as the heater, which is sort of funny because Dawkins doesn't look anything like a heater in spite of his size.
No way.
Right?
It's got to be Montez, healing it up for sure.
Right. But anyway, yeah, that's Other than that, yeah, this was definitely the match of the night. And you know what else, guys?
You're out.
Motherfucker. You saw it, huh? You saw it.
I knew it was coming.
Did we skip anything, by the way?
No, that's the thing. We haven't skipped anything. Yeah, look, it was a lot. Well, I mean, I'm skipping recaps and shit like that. I'm not.
Oh, no, I know, but it just felt like I said. Now that I think back on it, it was 3 matches, right?
Yeah.
So there really wasn't, and there wasn't really promos except for the end.
Because there was they were doing recaps and all that kind of shit of all the other stuff. And then so after the win, because here's another thing, we cut backstage to the Bloodliner talking, and in comes Adam Pearce, and he has a contract and shows it to Heyman, and tells him that as long as the match is not tonight, he is fine with it. Pearce says it's at Fastlane. Heyman asks who made the decision. Jimmy says that looks good to him, and they'll bring it to the ring and sign it. And Pearce says he'll let Cena and AJ know. Heyman looks at Jimmy and says that decisions like that need approval from the tribal chief first. Jimmy tells him and that he knows what he says and walks away. Solo tells Heyman not to worry about it. After tonight, there won't be nobody left to fight for them at Fastlane. So then we go to a commercial break. We have Kit Wilson talking about Elton Prince.
I love this, bro.
That video package. Look, I will say this. This is the other thing of the night that was not wrestling related that I incredibly enjoyed.
What was that?
It was my phone. Chris messaging me
with the laughing emoji.
Yeah.
I love how he does that, though. I must admit. But now you're onto him, though. You totally know when it's going to happen.
Well, we were already at 2:15.
Right. It's about the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, this video package with Kit Wilson and Elton Prince and being hurt and all that, it was great. Loved it. Best non-wrestling moment of the night was this. With everything going on in this show, this was the best thing of the night, not wrestling.
And especially that they were selling the leg, not the shoulder.
Right, yeah.
Which is even more hilarious.
The fact they got the orthopedic surgeon, he's got to separate his shoulder, he'll be fine. They're going through all this and all this adversity that he's quote unquote dealing with, and she's like, he's got to separate his shoulder. He's fine. And the way she says it, so deadpan.
Right, so nonchalant. Yeah, for sure. I loved it.
They're being fucking drama queens. No, he's fine.
But the best is at the end too, when was it Kip that was on the other guy's hair, sitting on there.
My hair. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry, pal.
It was good. It was best part of the night. After this,
they're talented, man.
Oh, they are. They're really good. Rich Holland and Butch versus Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. I'm going to be honest, this could get right the fuck out. And I did not, I watched very little of this because here's what I know. Before the match even started, Rich Holland and Pete Dunne were going to get the loss, even though they're an established tag team against these two chuckle fucks who I give absolute zero shit about. And so I barely, if I didn't even watch really this match because it did nothing for me. And like knowing that Rich Holland and Butch are fairly solid, and these other two chuckle fucks I don't give a shit about. I was like, all right, and I'm going, okay, oh shit, this isn't ending the show. They're gonna have something at the end of the show. Still, they're gonna end the show another week without wrestling.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, like this is 2 weeks in a row.
And I felt like they were. Well, we'll get to that. But
yeah.
Before I talk about that part, I will say, I know you don't really like Waller and Theory, but I will say this: I do think they're actually pretty good together. They suit each other.
I mean, I'm not saying that they don't have chemistry or whatever, and they don't
A-Town Down Under, bro.
Yeah,
literally. It's the perfect name. I mean,
Whatever.
It makes sense. It's such a Vince name, though. Vince would have came up with that 100%. There's no ifs or buts about that. But they're both douchebags, bro. Yeah. They're both douchebags, and they're meant to be douchebags. You know what I'm saying? They're over the top douchey as well. So I don't actually mind it. I know, dude, it's funny. The only people I hear that hate Waller is our circles, right? But when you go online, and I'm not talking about Australians, I'm talking about literally other people from around the world. There's a lot of people that really like Waller, bro. Believe it or not. If you look at Reddit forums and whatnot, and wrestling forums, you'll be surprised how much positive there is on Waller, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was surprised too, man.
I guess I don't see it.
Look, man, I personally think he needs to bulk up and settle down on the over the top sort of douchiness about him. You know what I mean? Like, he comes across as fake, but I guess, okay, he's a heel, he can be fake. But yeah, look, it's a hard thing. Waller needs, I don't know what Waller needs right now, but clearly the company sees something in him. I mean, he's in high spots, man. He's he's further up than upper mid card at this point, dude. When you think about it.
Is he?
I mean, he's main evented a few Smackdowns. He's had some big programs with some legends, dude. So, I mean, they seem pretty highly, I feel.
I don't know.
I mean, Edge, Cena, you know what I mean? He's with Theory. He main evented tonight. Well, if you want to call it main event. But whatever. The point is, the company sees something in him. I wonder if he's going to get cheered, though, down here. I'm actually interested to see once Elimination Chamber's on. It could go both ways, bro. Either the crowd will totally shit on him or will totally fucking suck it, like ooze it up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing about Australian people, they don't just go for every Australian. You know what I mean? Like, remember the Iconics, for example? The two Aussie chicks, they were pathetic, bro. But a lot of people liked them. What's her name? Peyton Royce and Billy Kay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad they got fired, honestly. I hated them, right? But anyway, people liked them, whatever. They got booed here, bro. No one gave a shit about them. Straight up. And I don't blame them. I was laughing because I couldn't give a shit about him.
Well, because I didn't give a shit about him either.
Well, no one did. That's my point. So it's like, fuck them. They're talentless. At least with Waller, I think he does get heat and knows how to generate heat. He understands professional wrestling a lot more than, say, they did. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess. I don't know. Like, again, it goes back to the, you said the Iconics, and I'm going like, what? Like,
yeah, well, Retro seems to like. I couldn't stand them, dude. Especially Billy Kay with the over the top Aussie like shit she was doing. Like, she was over the top Australian. Like, we call these types a larrikin, which means like a funny person, but she was over the top, like Australian funny, if that makes sense. And that cringes me, bro.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get that. I just like to me, Grayson Waller, that he doesn't do anything. It's almost like he doesn't know what to do, so he just defaults to being douchey, right? Like he doesn't know who he is as a character, so he feels like the easiest thing to do is be douchey. Which, in theory, like people are just like, I don't give a shit about that. He's being
He's funnier online, bro, than he is like in terms of douchiness too. The shit he says online, I think, is pretty good. But as far as him on television, he's he. What's his gimmick, man? I take it like he's supposed to be an influencer, right?
I don't get it. Like that's what I'm saying. I don't get what his character is other than being douchey. Like
I think they're trying to go with the influencer thing. I mean, influencer, not influenza.
well, it's fucking failed because I don't give it. I don't understand it, and I don't give a shit. Like that's the whole bit. And then like I just like I can see glimpses of him in the ring. I just don't see.
He's not bad in the ring, right?
Like I just don't see. For lack of a better phrase, I just don't see it though. Like you know how
I don't see it yet either, man. You got to give him some time. To be fair, I mean, come on.
Thank you, Elizabeth. This is why you're on this show. His gimmick is he's an idiot from down under who thinks he's over.
But see, the thing, I can understand why Americans wouldn't understand it, and that is a good call, Liz. I guess that's what it is, right? But really, he's playing he's an esche. That's what he really is. Now, me trying to explain what an esche is, some people might understand what I'm saying. It's an Australian thing. It's part of the Australian culture. It's basically like I don't want to say fucking. There's a certain lingo you talk as an esche, right? Like terms like lad, using that term. Nah, lad. Like they're known to be sort of drug dealers and party guys, but also kind of dumb at the same time. If that makes any sense.
We call them himbos.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah. So it's like a male bimbo. You have a bimbo.
Oh, well, yeah. That makes sense. No, but this is a legit thing, and it's called esche.
Right.
Look it up.
So it's an Australian term for the same thing of being a himbo.
Yeah, but it's kind of it's also like a jail sort of lingo too, man. Like sort of
or
thing.
A fuckboy,
Yeah. Sorry, D. What'd you say? Yeah, but trying to explain what a muzzer is, I guess. Yeah, like we say muzzer, it's like saying Guido, right? A Guido. What?
Jersey Shore.
Yeah, Jersey Shore, but not to the full extreme. He's the Ossified. Jersey Shore, you got to be like a Greek or Italian type.
Yeah. Well, that's just that we just call those fuckboys who are like that, or himbos.
Yeah, you want to slap these motherfuckers generally. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But yeah, he's definitely playing up the esche fucking thing, which only Australians really understand properly, unless he explains it.
Look, all I know is we spent way too much time talking about him for a match that was just whatever, and I didn't give a shit about it. And then again, we end the show with not wrestling. We end it with
not only not wrestling, John, but boy, did they stink it up. And when I say stink it up, you could tell they were trying to ride the time as much as possible, but really they had nothing more to do, so they kept doing the same shit.
Right,
and it was pointless.
This is where. So earlier the first story we talked about was that LA Knight was out with COVID.
Oh, COVID, right? Yep.
And so supposedly he was supposed to make the run in to be John and sign the contract to be John Cena's partner at the end of this for Fastlane to take on the Bloodline. But because he was out, they had to make an adjustment, and this was the adjustment because we had Adam Pearce in the ring with 4 chairs and a table set up. He introduces John Cena as the greatest of all time, and after Cena, he introduces his tag team partner AJ Styles, and then we cut backstage to Jimmy Uso attacking AJ, slams AJ onto equipment, and John Cena runs to the back. Solo stands on top of a platform and hits a splash onto AJ, and then the officials run towards AJ. Jimmy leaves the scene, and we see AJ down through a table, and Cena runs up and checks on him with the officials. Then we go to a commercial break. Because that was after the commercial break from the match. And now we come back after this segment and go to another commercial break. And AJ now is now on a stretcher because, that was such a terrible, devastating move that he has to go to Maricopa County Hospital into a Maricopa County ambulance so that we could get to see where Adam Pearce closes the door and they slaps the ambulance. And, by the way, Mishin is there and Carl Anderson, and he's like, I told him not to get involved in bloodline business, and
So corny, man.
yeah. And so then Paul Heyman walks down to the ring, and then as they're showing him being put in the stretcher, and Anderson, like I said, all that kind of stuff. And then back in the arena, out comes Jimmy and Solo. Solo throws the chairs and the tables outside the ring. Heyman begins to speak as he's introducing himself, and the fans begin to boo. He says, "Oh wow, you boo ladies here in Arizona? Okay."
Yeah.
That
was a good call, actually. That was pretty risque too, bro. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that was such a cool, like, funny Paul Heyman moment. I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a typical Paul Heyman fucking call too, bro.
Yeah. Smooth move on his part. So we got Paul Heyman, and then he goes through the whole thing. He says it's signed by the second greatest of all time, John Cena, without any tag team partner for Fastlane. As he's talking, Jimmy grabs the mic out of his hands, and the fans chant Rocky because they want The Rock to be there, but The Rock's not going to be there. It's Arizona. I mean, you're not. Look,
what are you saying? What are you saying, John?
Because yeah.
What are you Glendale. Trying to
say? It's Glendale. You're outside of Phoenix. You're like, no, The Rock's not going to be there.
True. Who wants to go to fucking anywhere outside of Phoenix when you're in Arizona, right?
Look, well, I mean, like, when I say outside of Phoenix, it's literally like they touch. It's like Glendale's where the football stadium is and all that kind of stuff. So it's not like it's like, that big a deal, but still, you had The Rock on last week. He's not going to make another appearance just because you want him to.
We said it last week. It was all a fucking PA stunt, really deep.
Man.
That's all it was.
Supposedly, but maybe to get him for that. And then he tells Cena that if he's smart, and he is smart, he'd go into the ambulance with AJ Styles and get away from the bloodline. Because Jimmy says Cena will end up in an ambulance with. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. And Paul Heyman's like, fucker, why'd you take my microphone and why'd you steal my line? Like, we're already starting to kind of seeing, like, Jimmy is like, have you ever met that person and they're working too hard to be your friend or be involved in the group or whatever? Like, that's what Jimmy's doing right now. He's working too hard. He's being too overly eager.
Yeah, overly. Yep, spot on.
And
it shows, dude. He needs to relax a little bit. He's probably under pressure, dude. You know what I mean?
No. And that's what I'm saying. And, like, the character is doing that, which I love. It's this idea that he's trying. He's like, you've met these people. They overcorrect so hard. They overcorrect the other way to where they begin to alienate people on the other side of something.
100%. And they come across as suspect too when they play that role, like overly play that role.
And so that's what this is, and I love it. It's great. And so then Cena runs down. He knocks Solo down. He slams Jimmy to the mat. Solo gets to his feet, and Cena goes for the A, but Jimmy hits him with a super kick. And then Cena gets hit with the Samoan spike. Jimmy and Solo stomp him up, and the fans boo. And basically, they just decimate John Cena as they go off the air. Because, like you said, they had to make sure they got to at least to a point where it was decent to turn the thing off. I don't know about you on your feed, but did your feed cut out?
No, I don't think it did, man.
Okay,
what, during that last bit, you got a commercial or what happened?
No, like, screen went blank.
Yeah.
For a minute, and then came back, and then like, for my feed anyway, when I was watching.
No, I'm pretty sure that didn't happen.
Okay, yeah, well, it did on mine. Okay, cool. Medium 5 says yes. 4 black screens. Elizabeth said yes, mine did as well. So,
maybe because I watched it on demand though. I didn't watch it live because I had to watch Rampage. So,
I watched it live. I had Fox 4 going, so then I switched over to another way to where I could watch it, and it gives me the Cincinnati feed. And so for some reason, it did the same thing there, because even though it was delayed a little bit, I got that as well. Okay, so look, it's not just me. So if you watched live, you went black a few times. Okay.
Wow. Cool. Jeez, now it makes me wish I did watch it live, because this retro is in Canada. So if it happened there, I'm assuming it would have happened to me too if I was watching it live. But
yeah. Okay, so it wasn't just me. I thought maybe it was my feed or whatever, but
no, it must have been a whole thing. And
It was.
actually, Retro brings up an interesting thing. Where is that? About LA Knight making a Kevin Nash joke and then Kevin Nash bitching to Triple H about it is not the reason. You know how we got told it was COVID, for example, with LA Knight?
Mm.
Could it possibly be heat? It is conspiracy right now. I don't think it is, right? But
Right.
possibly. I don't know if you saw the interaction. Well, what Kevin Nash said on his Click This podcast this past week. Did you catch that?
No, I don't give a shit.
He basically snitched on fucking LA Knight. And yeah, you could say maybe he's working.
Oh,
him,
I think I saw
but
something.
Nash ain't coming out to wrestle, so I don't see why he'd be working.
Well, because I mean, well, we all know that Kevin Nash gets butthurt over all kinds of shit. You know,
But the fact that he said he spoke to Triple H about him, I mean, really, bro? You're going to give that sort of heat to him?
no, it's not even about that. Who knows if he did or not? But the point is, Kevin Nash is just flexing how much of a big dog he is. Like, all right, you want to come at me and talk, and talk shit? Cool. Well, I can go talk to Hunter, right? Because Hunter and I are boys, and it's more that. Hey, look who I am. It's a reverse. Do you know who I am? Right?
Oh, of course.
But
I don't blame LA Knight for doing what he's doing.
I mean, or like you see some of these people. Well, I know the owner, and I'm gonna talk to the owner, and then the person who's the owner goes, oh yeah, well, cool, because I'm the owner, and I don't know you, kind of thing. It's that idea. I think, I don't know. And I don't give a shit because again, it's petty, childish bullshit that I don't put up with any of that bullshit. But like, I look, I don't know, but yeah, it was weird the end of the show because of the cuts, and I think they were trying to figure out, do we cut here or now or whatever? I couldn't tell.
Oh, I'm telling you, dude.
It made it hard to figure out what they were trying to say or be said.
It was awkward, bro.
You just said you didn't see it.
What? No, I did see it.
The end of the show.
I did see it. No, I did.
You said you didn't cut out.
Yeah, it didn't cut out for me. It kept going.
Yeah, what I'm talking about. Yeah, we didn't see it. We didn't see the end of the show. It like for production wise, for us, it's like, oh, are they trying to end the show? Wait, no. Like, are we ending the show? No. Like it kept, doing this thing.
That. Okay,
it was like it was going black, and so it in turn gave that whole idea the sense of they're milking the show to try to figure out where to end it.
Okay, that's interesting because from my perspective, it felt like they were milking it, trying to waste time. But see, not knowing until now what was happening, maybe that was the reason. But to me, no shit, it looked like they're trying to come up with something to waste more time because they had too much time left. Like, for example, how many Samoan splashes did you notice from Jimmy?
2.
Well, I'm pretty sure he did 3 of them, right? And it was almost awkward, like, oh, I'm going to go back up on the ropes and then jump again, right? But everyone was looking at each other like what to do next sort of thing.
Yeah, because, I mean, we have to remember, too, the idea was that LA Knight was going to show up. Right. And interrupt and sign the contract and be partners with John Cena for Fastlane since AJ wasn't going to be available.
Well, they had time to fix this shit up and they didn't. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, but and I mean, I think that's the thing is, sometimes just you write things out and then the timing doesn't go as you expect it. I think at the end of the day, it is what it is. You go forward from it and you deal with it. I don't know. Todd Brantley says, should Nash have done that, though? His own written rule, he shouldn't be doing that. This is a way. You have to remember this. Kevin Nash is the ultimate in milking things, especially to his advantage, how he wants. This puts him in the news. This makes people want to talk about Kevin Nash because he's talking about LA Knight. He's essentially getting the rub off of LA Knight by saying, first of all, he did that because LA Knight became popular. And he goes, well, he's not original. He's just like Stone Cold and everything. No shit, motherfucker. We've been saying that for a while. Are you eating a hand roll?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. No, we understand that, Kevin. That's not the gimmick. And not we understand that bit. I mean, that's the whole point. We get it. But okay, so you said it, whatever. So we talk about it, and then that makes LA Knight have to make a response. And then Kevin has to respond to LA Knight. So Kevin is now in the news talking about LA Knight, one of the hotter stars in the WWE, and he's getting the rub from that because he's making comments and pot shots because he's never going to get back into the ring. You know,
Right.
Whether
and that's what's frustrating.
Whether he talked to Hunter or not, who gives a shit? He's being petty. He's being childish, and he's letting this be a thing where he can still be in the news. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Right, but like you said, it's freaking petty, man. He shouldn't be doing that. And if he did speak to Hunter, Kev, I love you, man, but that's snitching, bro. Come on, man.
That's just being a bitch.
Straight up, bitch. Absolutely.
This is just being a bitch. I mean.
And I kid you not, I'm one of Nash's biggest fans, dude. I loved Diesel and Kevin Nash back in the Monday Night Wars. You know what I mean? But
yeah, he was fine.
Hey, he was never a great worker, but he was big,
fine.
sexy, and he was legitimately Big Daddy cool, bro.
Look, I guess for me, he was fine. He's not in my top 20. But
hey, he was part of the boom, man. I mean,
I'm not discounting that at all. I'm just saying, like, I don't give a shit what he has to say because okay, cool. It's like if Hulk Hogan said the same thing, I'd be like, and you ripped off
shit.
Well, no, I mean, I said, okay, this is coming from the guy who ripped off Superstar Billy Graham, Ric Flair, Gorgeous George, all these. Like, you amalgamized like 3 different wrestlers to create your own character. You didn't come up with an original character at all. So
and everyone's done that throughout, the annals of professional wrestling, dude.
Yeah, Kevin Nash isn't anything original. He was more original as Oz than he was as Kevin Nash or Big Sexy or Diesel.
Well, even though it was whack, but you're right.
I mean, Vinny Vegas.
Vinny Vegas was even more original, bro.
Yeah, I mean, generic big wrestler number 1. We're gonna call him Diesel, and he's gonna be big, and then we're gonna call him Big Sexy. Okay, well, cool.
What is a Diesel, man? Was he legitimately a truck? Because he didn't look like one.
I know, right?
He was a big guy.
Diesel. I mean, it was so when Diesel is usually in trucks, but when most people associate that with
like a big guy tank,
like an 18-wheeler, right?
and that's what I'm talking about.
Do you all call them lorries over there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because
everyone calls them trucks, though. Generally, you know what I mean. But yeah.
So
lorries is the proper name for it.
No, they're not. They're trucks. They're 18-wheelers.
But I agree, trucks, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the whole premise is that he's a big guy. Cool, all that. But like, what was original about it? I don't know. But yeah, look.
Who the fuck comes out to a song going, let's be honest. I mean,
look, he has very little room to talk at all, if anything. But what we do, what we have a lot of room to talk about is how to end the show. So let's do that. Because we can. So Jimmy, why don't you tell the lovely? First, before we go forward, sorry.
That's right.
I forgot about the major part of the show. What are you grading the show, Jimmy?
Oh, yes. Good question, man. It's a tough one. I'll say C+.
C+.
Yep. It was cool. It was all right. It was just a cool show. I mean, C for cool.
C for cool. All right.
Cool, bro.
Jimmy, I think I'm going to go a lot harsher than you because you're a nicer person. Look, I got to go C-. Like,
that's fair.
The only thing that doesn't make it a D was the Street Profit match wasn't fine. It went a little long, but that doesn't make it too terrible. The Asuka match was great. Everything else was complete and utter shit. Like
everything else was shit, really.
I had zero interest in anything else on this show other than the Asuka match. And then they made me interested in the Rey Mysterio Street Profits match and the afterwards with Bobby Lashley. Outside of that, I gave to, and they almost lost me on the women's match with the Charlotte and all that kind of bullshit.
Yeah, all the
So
fuckery that we didn't actually need. But yeah, you're right.
right, and so for me, this show gets a C minus for that reason.
C minus. That's a fair call. I could have easily gone C minus also, man. But it
Yeah.
wasn't like it was a tough show to grade only because it wasn't as bad as say a couple of weeks ago. If you remember, it was a nothing Smackdown. It was just flat. But this one felt like a sort of a big deal, but nothing was really going on other than the Asuka Io Sky matchup, and that was the only match that I was hyped for too. And sure, every time Cena's around, it brings an element of excitement per se, right?
Yeah,
because no one knows how long we're gonna still see him for, so that's cool and all. But
until the writer's strike ends.
Man, is that even gonna end, bro? I don't see any ending in sight right now, man.
Look, I don't know, and I don't give a fuck. I really don't. Like it
how much more money do they fucking want, man?
You're writing entertainment, okay?
Right. Fuck, I wish I could do that.
And here's the thing. What they're really bitching about is like, oh, we don't want AI. Fucker, you don't want to get caught using AI to write shit.
100%, bro. Wow, absolutely.
You don't want to get caught using AI because you're using AI to write your shit. So don't give me this. We don't want to be. Look, oh my god, I can't even get it. It's millionaires and billionaires fighting, just like when
it's ridiculous.
When baseball players and baseball owners argue over shit and they have a strike. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
And then they get double pay suddenly. Fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. And I'm not worried about it. So yeah, whenever the writer strike is over, Cena will go back to Hollywood, and so will The Rock and all that fun shit. But until then, it is what it is. So, you
seem fucking just flabbergasted right now, dude.
It's Retro Rocket's comment. He goes, I use AI to write my grocery list. It seems to want batteries all the time. That it popped me. Sorry. That's what more.
No, that's a good one. Absolutely. But AI is weird, man. Have you ever used it?
I've used it a couple of times to write, like when I just didn't feel I wanted to write a social media post for work, like for fundraising and stuff, because I've had so much shit to do. I use Google Bard because
what's it called? Google what?
Bard, BARD, like a bard.
Is it a website or an app?
I just do it through the browser here.
I want to check that one out. I didn't use that one yet, but yeah.
Yeah. So like I use it to write sometimes social media posts during our fundraiser. Like, hey, write a social media post thanking, this thing for being a sponsor of our fundraiser, and for Freedom House or whatever. And because it's got the power of Google behind it, so I don't have. It knows what Freedom House is, so I don't even have to write out what Freedom House is. Saying, right. Hey, supporting Freedom House, a local nonprofit helping victims of abuse, and blah, blah, blah. Like it fills in. It does a really great job. So then all I got to do is sometimes just go in and make some changes, and then I'll copy paste it, post it, and
that's funny.
It's great. Like it's great for the menial tasks that I don't want to have to deal with. Like writing social media posts or certain things where I just don't have, like, because I've expended my energy on other things, I don't have the creative mental facility to handle something at that moment. So I'll just go that route. And because I was looking at it and I was like, oh, Google Bard, cool, that's easy, and it pulls from Google information, so which our website and everything is in Google, and it's all that fun stuff there. So all right, no biggie. I'll yeah, sure, why not? I'll go do that. So
Bing has got a chat, an AI thing too, which I haven't checked out.
Everybody's got one now,
right?
But yeah, like I like Google Bard. It's pretty good for what they for my needs. It's been pretty good.
Can it create pictures and shit like other ones do?
I am not sure about that.
That's what I'm looking at. I want to see the extensions and whatnot, but there's not really many. Yeah, interesting.
That's
That's an
one
experimental version.
Well, because I'm only using it to create like social media posts.
Right.
So I'm not. Yeah, and Bard is fairly new. Um, again, I've never used it to hey, create a social media post with images about this. I mean, you could give it a try and see what it'll do, but as far as I know, I've just used it for social media posts, or for writing.
It's even suggesting questions for interviews and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I'm just checking it out now. I want to see for pro wrestling what it comes up with, like out of curiosity, which is funny because I used it a while ago. Not Bard, whatever it's called, but other ones, man, that I've even forgotten what they're called. There's so many now, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's some good ones though, man.
Yeah, but you know what's not good? You delaying ending the show.
Oh, well, let's take it home for fuck's sake.
Take it home.
Did I mention where to... Yeah, well, you can find me...
Because I interrupted you because we hadn't graded the show yet.
That's true. Oh, well, we said C's, minus and pluses. But anyway, if you want to follow me on the X, you can at DJ Mass Effects. And also you can follow us at the PWC Network. Like and subscribe right here at channelattitude.com. With $5, you get the best talk in all of wrestling. Not just me, not just John or Chris, but you got Stevie Richards, Stevie Ray... I'm not going to name everybody. Bin Hamin, everyone that's over there at channelattitude.com, including ourselves, where you'll find us right here on the Smack Attack. Uncaged, that me and Chris recorded yesterday. And after the collision, we sift through
the wreckage,
which will be tomorrow 10 a.m. Central, I believe, for the wreckage. And also pwcnetwork.podbean.com for our other shows and haminmediagroup.podbean.com for our affiliate shows. And that's it, man.
Excellent, sir. Thank you. And of course, you can always find myself on the Hamin Media Group associate page with Stargate, not Stargate, with Star Trek. Look, I might as well just make a Stargate podcast now. Just make a sci-fi podcast.
Oh, and by the way, John, I played more MK1. Loved it, bro.
Oh, yeah, it's good. It's a good one.
Fucking loved it, bro.
Yeah. So, of course, the Academy. We're still kind of figuring out how to do everything on there. Where to go, what to do. But you can always check that feed for other shows that are there. You can also, of course, find me on the Instagram, TikToks, and Twitter as JReezyMin, which apparently I now have a new follower in the sense on TikTok of DJ Mass Effects.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Has made his way to the TikToks and has added me and vice versa. So there. And so, yeah, and of course you can find me on Facebook and anything along those lines. If you need, just as a reminder, because we're getting close, because we'll have one more show, but October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month here in the States. So I'll be talking a little bit more about that, and we'll be having some things that we're doing with our organization. So I go from fundraising month to Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So, it stays busy for me, which is good. But yeah, it'll be if you need help with mental health or any kind of resources or anything along those lines, you can always email me, not talking wrestling or anything else, but you can always email me, john@freedomhousepc.org, or you can hit me up on any other social medias for those things as well. It doesn't matter. Just let me know what it is you need and how I can help you, and I'd be glad to do so. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, you get in 2 hours and 52 minutes of the Smack Attack. Chris was smart in leaving 40 minutes ago. We are now leaving as well. And you know what? Next week, you never know. We could be the fast lane to the streamline of the streaming service of WWE, or we could be doing something completely different. You never know. With mergers, things get weird. Maybe we merge SmackDown and Raw and call it Smack Rock. Or Smack Raw,
or straight Raw Smack.
Raw Smack, I mean, and it's just an 8-hour super show every week. And who knows? Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen with TKO now that we have a new company?
There's one thing for sure. It's going to knock us both out, I think.
Oh, yeah. I am not definitely handling that. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be here next week. The same Stone Cold time, same Stone Cold channel, 10 a.m. Saturday morning, right here to check us out, to see the boys from the PWC and Assistant Minister, your boy JDE, talking all the things that are wrestling and wrestling related, because it's your show, not our show. Thanks for being a part of the chat. I do want to shout out Aaron Bigelow, Retro Rock Elizabeth, Todd Brantley, and of course our first commenter of the day was Lab Rat. We had Zane Vicious was here for a while. Did I say Todd Brantley already? I think I did.
Well, you have now.
Todd Brantley, I have now. Media M5. Jerome made an appearance. Hey! Chris Winland was here earlier. And of course, I think I said Aaron Ben Shlomo, of course. Look, I gotta figure out a time we can have Aaron on to have his perspective as a
I've been meaning to do a show with him too, man. He wants to do a show
as someone who lives in Israel and sees wrestling from an outside perspective. Just to get his perspective on things.
I mean, did WWE do shows in Israel?
I don't think so.
I don't think they have. They probably have, but I'm just not aware.
Not
Definitely
like
no TV.
maybe not a PLE or anything like that.
Oh no, definitely not, or any TV for that matter, right?
No.
That's a shame.
But, ladies and gentlemen, come back next week. Let's talk all the things that's wrestling, and we'll have a great time doing it. Until then, stay safe, be cool, and a peace.